Esa presents SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wild.
Well, you already know that we have partnered with Crown Royal.
Yeah.
You already know that we have to give out a crown every single game.
You already know what it is.
Not every game, just every single episode. And I think that this episode, we have to give the crown to the referee that missed the glove pass to send the San Jose Sharks
back to Toronto.
Back to Toronto. No.
Wait, no, is that not?
No, I don't think that's how it goes.
They didn't win the World Series?
They didn't win the World. Back to back.
He won both the World Series with one swing of the bat.
And when Thornton finally wins it, touch 'em all, Joe.
And I got to tell you, I'm with Ken Reed on this. Ken tweeted out something that I don't think should be highly controversial today. My thing has always been shit or get off the pot. Yep. And so are you video review or are you not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you full video review on everything, which is going to suck, by the way, or are you human error? I am for human error. Take video replay out of the game on all levels. Just don't do it. I'd put another ref on the ice. I'd put a third ref on the ice before I would do more video replay. However, everybody today is calling for more expanded video.
Berkshire had a great idea, which is, I mean, we have the technology. Like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be all of them, but have one ref mic'd up to someone who's just watching.
Yeah, have a ref upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything.
They have that because the replay center exists. And they see everything and have angles that the public can't see. Mm-hmm. So why can't they just be like, hey, this is clearly wrong, just switch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather them not have video replay than what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. Seriously, like, if they want to do more video, fine. But like you said, shit or get off the pot.
It's going to suck.
Do it or don't.
It will suck. By the way, we're giving the crown to the refs because the refs are deciding these games. They've decided 2 series already. Okay,
oh,
let's
Sharks
just call
fans
it.
are gonna love you.
Call it what it is.
What are you saying?
The
2
refs
series?
have decided 2 series. Sharks fans.
No,
the first
we're not giving them Vegas.
We're not
Yes,
giving
we
them
are.
Vegas.
I'm not giving a team who allowed 4 goals a pass and then blew a 3-1 lead.
Listen, just because they heard Jeff Merrick's take about San Jose and Boston playing in the finals doesn't mean they had to make it happen.
See, Jesse's not big on hockey history, like he said. Like he's thinking back to. I was about to ask him, when was the last time you saw 4 goals scored on a 2-minute minor? That used to be a thing you could do because penalties were just continuous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But,
and you used to not be able to ice on penalties, too.
Yeah.
I did know that. Yeah.
That was cool.
Which, I don't know, I'm sort of open to them bringing back.
The Montreal Canadiens were apparently they were the reason that they had to get rid of that.
They Steph Curry'd the NHL.
Yeah,
where they just ruined it. They're like,
the game was over if you got a penalty, basically.
What do you do? What do you do? Yeah, dude.
You're giving Vegas a pass for blowing a 3-1 lead and then in the final 5 minutes or like 10 minutes of hockey game not being able to not allow 4 goals.
The 3-1 lead has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Bingo.
No, but it does because it's context. It has everything to lead up to the moment.
Zero context.
If you didn't want
the Bruins choked on a 3-1 lead, 3-1 series lead to the Leafs twice and won both of them, which pains me to say.
No, you mean the lead? I'm talking a 3-1 series lead.
Yeah. I'm talking a 3-1 series lead. 2013 and last year.
Yeah. The 2013 has nothing to do with this.
Oh, neither does last year, technically.
Yeah. So what is your point about the Bruins in this Vegas argument?
No, you're saying they choked on a 3-1 series lead, therefore screw them, they deserve to lose.
Yeah, because, you have all of these opportunities to win a game, and then it comes down to the final game where you had all these opportunities, and then in the final 10 minutes you don't close it.
But
that seems like your problem.
Would they have?
That seems like a you problem.
Listen,
I feel
giving up 4 goals in a 5-minute penalty is egregiously terrible.
However, does it happen if the penalty's not called?
No! And also, isn't Cody Eakin like their top penalty killer or one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse, it's okay. It puts Vegas at a little bit of a disadvantage that they shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have. What do you mean, yeah? I don't think we agree.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that the events didn't take place. Like, the events happened of the penalty.
You're arguing they shouldn't.
So they got shafted,
I'm
but
arguing you're saying, It's okay. They should have won. I feel bad for Vegas. No, close it out in OT in Game 6. Close it out in Game 5 when you have a lead.
I'm not going to say
close
they
it out in
should have
Game
won.
7 when you have a 4-goal lead.
3-goal
lead.
Yeah.
And then you came back and you had a chance to win it again.
I know.
You had overtime again after you blew it.
So what we're saying here is congratulations, referees. You have now created 2 series wins and an overtime victory. So
For the
the
Sharks.
next time you're screaming at the television, why not try a Crown Royal? Right? Am I right,
Yeah.
Crown Royal?
Yes,
Am I right?
might help.
It might help after the game.
And I just want to thank the ocean of Bruins fans who were like, so are the Sharks ruining the sport now? Oh, are the Sharks ruining hockey?
I saw your
and then when
exchange
Justin
with Pete
Williams sucker punched David Backes, what are your thoughts on this? Can you give me a second? It just happened. He's like still punching him, and everyone's like, Steve! What does Steve think? Talk now, you hypocritical piece of shit! You Leaf fan salty piece of garbage! Okay, relax. It was bad. I think we're on the same side that bad things should be called bad things and not happen.
Yeah.
Which means you should criticize the Bruins when they do bad things. Oh, but they weren't bad things. And now we're playing stupid games like what Williams did was way worse than anything the Bruins did. And the Sharks have screwed up the play. You know who I'm cheering for?
Who are you cheering for?
In a Sharks-Bruins Stanley Cup final? The Raptors. Like,
I'm actually
seriously.
cheering for the refs in that one because at least they'll make it happen one way or the other.
I hope they declare. I hope it goes to Game 7 and they declare it a tie.
Is that the ultimate unstoppable force, immovable object? Because you could argue that, and we have, that the Bruins get away with everything, and the Sharks are getting everything because the refs are too jumpy on the gun. What will happen when they play in the finals?
The Bruins are such a strange team because I watch them and I go, wait, sorry, how are you doing this again? Like outside of the big line, and their second line is good, but then I don't know, they just try really hard.
The other question I have too is Blues fans who are upset right now and go, listen, this series isn't over, and they're right. I have this for you, Blues fans. Boston is up 3-0 on the Carolina Hurricanes.
And they've been down 2-1 twice in these playoffs.
Yeah. So fair to say that the percentages are in their favor that they're going to the finals.
The Bruins.
Bruins.
Yes.
Do the Blues really want to play Boston again in the finals?
In the Stanley, I was just thinking about that. So everyone's talking about the Joe Thornton angle. I'm like, if you're an old Blues fan, this is kind of cool.
Is it?
It's a neat little angle.
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, it might as well be them.
True. It
might
would be
as
the
well.
it could be the ultimate revenge.
It
Did
could
you
be.
see the stat about David Krejci that Elliot had in 31 Thoughts?
No, he's been very underrated in these playoffs. Though.
So since his playoff debut in 2008, the only players ahead of him with more playoff points are Crosby, Malkin, Ovechkin, Kane, Hossa, Taves, Backstrom. Next
That's
is David Krejci.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy list.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And to add to that list, not for points but for goals, Logan Couture has 14 goals in 16 games in these playoffs. Apparently, the record for goals in a playoff by a center. How many do you think it is in a single playoff?
Like 20?
Okay, that's a decent
I'm going
guess.
high. Yeah.
Adam?
God, in a single playoff series, right?
No,
No, playoff.
in 4 rounds of the playoffs.
Oh, it's got to be Gretzky, and it's going to be like 40 something.
That's what I thought.
Because he had not 40 something. That's probably points. Let me give you a real answer. In a full playoff,
Just goals.
just
Just
goals. 22.
That's what I thought. It was at least 20.
Yeah.
The record is 18.
What?
By who?
That's a great question, Jesse. Who do you think?
A center?
A center.
Has to be.
You got to think of some of the greatest centers of all time.
And put him away because it's not one of them.
Yeah. Okay, who is it?
Brian Trottier.
Nope.
Who is it?
Joe Sakic.
Wow.
The most goals Gretzky ever scored in a single playoff was 17.
Loser.
And I know, but he also had 47 points.
This is also
Loser.
This is also only centers.
Yes. Yeah, this
Okay.
is just centers. Lemieux's record was
I was about to
16,
say
which he
Lemieux.
did twice. One of them was in 15 games.
Wow.
So the problem was Lemieux and Gretzky just kept steamrolling everybody.
Yeah, they didn't play enough games.
They didn't play enough games. So I say all that to say this. Logan Couture is 4 goals back of Sakic. So the Sharks might not even make the Stanley Cup final, and he could break that record.
Yeah.
And he needs 2 more goals to tie with Alex Ovechkin for most playoff goals since 2010.
Wow.
And if he gets 3 more, he beats him. He's had 48.
What's the record for most goals in a playoff by any forward?
That I don't know.
Okay.
That I don't know. I assume it's not a forward. I assume it's Bobby Orr, and the answer is 46. Even though I think he only played 2 rounds. I don't know. How was it back then? I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is what happens when you let Iceberg steer the ship.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Back to,
What are we gonna do?
Back to the actual play, because I don't think we've broken it down.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with Datum? All right. Yeah.
So, if there's a plausible way, I could see how the ref from where he is didn't see it.
I can see how they didn't see it.
Now, I can see also, I can't see how the other ref didn't see it.
The linesman.
Well, no, there's 2 referees on the ice.
Right.
I can't see how the other ref didn't see that.
'Cause it's
how
the
do
puck.
How do you not see a batting motion where the puck is?
Well, it's the puck. Yeah. What are you looking at? If not that.
And then there's 2 linesmen, too. And they're standing where? Blue line?
I assume so, because they're not in the wide shot.
But they see it.
Well, and you know what the telltale sign was? Go back and watch Gustav Nyquist, because he's the guy who sets up Carlson. So it's Meyer smacks it. Nyquist does a little tap pass over to Carlson, who buries it. Go watch Nyquist take the puck. He thinks the whistle's about to blow when he touches it. 'Kay, he's like, well, I can't not touch it, but also we're about to get blown dead for a hand pass. But it was a great decision by him, because he's like, well, if they don't blow it dead, we score.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, man.
So
it was a hand pass. It's clearly a hand pass.
It is clearly a hand pass. And this is the thing, like, okay, what is the point of we go through all these replays. We have all these goals called back, and it's exhausting. Especially, I mean, I don't know if you're not a Leafs fan, you've seen some of this, but like there was I don't know. It felt like the Leafs were up there in terms of goals called back this year. A lot of weird offsides,
Over the last
a lot of odd
3
goals.
years.
Yeah, like Austin Matthews especially has had a lot called back, maybe because he scores a lot.
That one in the Bruins series, I think, was the first call he got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like literally first.
And probably didn't deserve to get.
No!
Which is weird.
The Colorado one, my God, that was he didn't touch the guy practically. And this one in the Bruins series, Zach Hyman's like,
I'm moving
basically
you.
Rikishi in Tuukka Rask's face, just all ass.
What?
Didn't matter.
Okay, so the reason the refs gave that they didn't review it and that it wasn't overturned is that the play is non-reviewable. They're not allowed to go look at video. Why is there not just something in the NHL rulebook where they just cover their asses and write, in any instance that the replay center wants to step in and review something, they can?
That we should call that the we fucked that up rule.
Yeah, just have that in there in like little tiny font.
It's
that
so
says,
easy.
Hey,
so easy.
If we clearly fuck up, the NHL replay center has the decision to overturn something.
They're worried about pacing. That's the issue right now.
The game's done, though.
No, they're worried about pace. Right?
That's what Bonks Mullet said. He's like, well, you don't want to slow the game down. Wait, the game's done? What? you know what?
true.
Slow down, stopped.
Yeah.
Done.
Especially in overtime. Like I can see in the regular season, you don't necessarily want somebody with a fucking bird's eye view stopping every play. That would be annoying. When you get into overtime, when games matter, there is no tomorrow. Ride your Austin Matthews, man.
Yeah.
Video replays your Austin Matthews, NHL.
We're never
get
gonna
in
get
there.
over that, are we?
Until next year.
Not till
when we
next
lose
year,
in
round one.
Losing 7
Game
to
7.
Boston, Game 7.
Never not once. Cool.
Little did we know in 2013 how much hell we were in for. Hey, let's start a hockey podcast. This will be fun. No, but I look at that and I think, like, if the point is to get it right, get it right. If you are, to me, the only logical solution here for the NHL is going to be refereeing by video camera. And that means they're gonna develop a system in the next 10 years here where you're not going to need referees anymore. Because
This is getting unbearable.
Well, yeah, because it's slowing down the pace of the game. So what'll happen is the blue line will light up if you're offside. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like it'll just stop you. That's what'll happen. Like you can't have
Something
it both
like
ways.
that.
The only thing in life that I would recommend to you is pick a direction and go for it.
Yeah.
You can't go two different directions, and that is what they've done. They've tried to straddle this line for years, and NHL teams are famous for this. They want to be more skilled, but they need character.
And they want to rebuild, but win now.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to commit to either. We're just going to do both.
Who's the guy who's due to go like 7th overall, who's a Russian, who's committed for 2 more years in the KHL?
Every draft ever.
What the hell is his name? Okay, I'm going to bring up there's a reason I'm bringing this up.
Okay.
There's a reason I'm bringing this up. But essentially, this kid is supposed to be one of the most skilled players in the NHL. And if he was coming out of the O, he'd be top 3.
Okay.
But they don't know when he's going to come.
They don't know when he's available. So Elliot Friedman is talking about, and rightfully so, that some of these NHL teams are like, well, we don't want to wait 2 years. We need them now.
Which makes sense.
Except it doesn't. Are you rebuilding or are you not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
L.A. and New York, or New York might make sense, he said, but L.A. and Chicago won't draft him. No. Not because he's the best player that they could possibly get, but he won't be available for 2 years, so they're not going to take him. And that's
interesting. Sorry.
So are you rebuilding or are you not? Are you letting referees do it with all the warts that come with that, or are you doing an electronic system, which is yet to be developed, with all of that's warts? What are you going to do? Because you can't do this both. And I think until you got a system that is absolutely perfect, that is completely human-free, you go with the referees, you throw out video review, the game is the game, it's hockey, it's the Wild West, there's chaos, and you accept the human error and go, shit, that's just the way it fell this time.
I feel like most fans were willing to be like, you know what, they missed it. But then the second they introduced video replay, it's like, well, okay, we have it.
Yeah.
It's here now. We have a way of fixing
it's
this.
It's just you just took back a goal where it was clearly the guy's onside, offside, who knows? You use video replay for that, but then this clear missed call, you can't review that. Well, it's very frustrating.
And they've gotten away from their own, they've gotten away from the purpose. It was for the Matt Duchene offside call, which was egregious, and he was offside by like 10 feet, something like. The Landeskog thing that came back, also in favor of the Sharks. The Landeskog goal that came back, that is a joke. It's a joke. You can't even definitively say he's not on the blue line, and the call on the ice was a goal. By their own definition and enforcement of offside reviews, that it's a goal.
And it's crazy because if he's offside or onside, then it's too many men.
Yes.
And then
but it's not.
But it's not because you're not allowed to call the penalty from the review. But then if you're counting him on the ice, then there's 6 guys.
But there's also there's the human element and a little bit of just common sense and logic to it.
Right.
Because how many times during a game will a team have 6, 7, sometimes 8 skaters on the ice at once because of a line change?
Right.
But they're not all in the play. Landeskog is literally. Drew made a great point when we were shooting the Dangits video today. Part of the reason Landeskog wasn't off the ice is because he was fiddling with the door.
Yeah.
If you see your captain try to get off the ice, open the door.
Well,
but he's clearly, if you're fiddling with the latch on the bench door, you're not in the play.
One of our
Everyone
listeners
knows he's not in the play.
One of our listeners, Meathead, brought up a good point.
Oh, yeah.
Meathead's awesome. And he said, why not have it like lacrosse, where there's a box on the actual surface play that when you're in that box, you're not in the play. You can't physically play it. Because if the puck goes, let's say...
They already have this.
Let's say, though, let's say Landeskog gets hit with a puck at that point. That's not too many men on the ice.
No.
It's just incidental puck hitting him. It is. It's an incidental puck hitting. Exactly.
Yes. So it happens all the time, and everyone goes, whoa!
Yeah, but it's not.
Because they forget.
So why not take all that shit out of the game, including the bullshit too many men on the ice calls that do happen, and have a box in front of the bench that when you're in that box, you can't play the puck. Otherwise, it is a penalty against. However, you are then exempt from anything going on in the play. As in, you can get off. It gives you that split second to get off. What would that do? How could that slow the game down?
Puck. So, if I'm the right winger, I'm the right winger,
Steve,
coming
it's
up
a
the
foot.
boards,
I'm asking for a foot.
That's a lot of ice.
It's not. These guys are 6'4", dude. You could
coming up the ice.
Oh, you mean you're saying if you're skating on the ice, you also can't.
Yeah.
Go
Are
in that
you
box
talking
and
about
handle
just
the
getting
puck.
on and off?
On and off.
Oh, okay.
On and off. So all you do is step off the bench, don't go in that ice, and you can handle the
Yeah.
puck.
See,
But
this is the
but
thing,
if it's
though.
in play and you have the puck, you can still skate to that
Sure.
box and play it and stuff.
Play it until you get to that box.
But this already exists in everyone's common sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's
why it didn't exist for that one play
Yeah.
is baffling me.
I feel like the box is already there, just nobody acknowledges
Well,
it.
obviously they need it.
until
Obviously they need
somebody
it.
decides to make a decision like this.
They
This-
need it, though. They need it.
A few people made this point. Like, we wouldn't. Like, if officials just called the damn game properly, like, we're not having this discussion.
Well,
we need more video review because they just keep getting it wrong.
Or turn one of those fucking linesmen into a ref.
Or
Like,
something.
why
anything.
do we need 2 linesmen? Do we really need 2 linesmen?
I also don't buy the slowing the game down shit.
You don't? I do.
No, dude. We can see whether or not, like, for plays like that, for plays like
you mean-
Panarin putting the
sorry,
puck
in
into
that
the net.
in that play, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but I'm
Panarin
talking
putting
about
the puck into the net or the Meyer hand pass. It takes 2 seconds. You watch the replay twice, 3 times to really make sure, and you see it was wrong. It was wrong.
Also, for
that's all
most
you
of
gotta
these
do.
plays, when video review happens, it's in a stoppage of play. Like, it's a goal. So, okay, in between goals, there's already going to be time, whether it's a commercial break, whether it's just getting back to center ice. So just take the extra 30 seconds. I
Yeah.
don't think it slows it down too much. You're already stopped.
Yeah, I don't know.
Run an extra commercial.
Devil's advocate to bring some Sharks fans back in.
Oh, listen, I think it's a shame.
Well, it's,
The Sharks have played great
Oh, yeah.
hockey.
they don't care. Like their fans, do you think they're like, oh, it's been spoiled?
Oh, I don't think it's
They're
no,
in the
but
they're 3rd round. They're 6 wins shy of a cup.
No, but
They don't care.
I don't think they
the
care.
playoffs.
But it is
sucks.
it's what sucks. Yeah, it sucks because
Whoa, they're full diaper. Whoa, you're so unreasonable and irrational. There he goes again.
The crazy thing.
There goes crazy Steve. Whoa, come on now, Jesse.
No.
I think I think the point here is that you look at that, and I get what you're saying, Jesse. I think that people are going to look at this and go, like, the San Jose Sharks didn't play good hockey. They just got a couple calls right. Well, that's not true either. They were in Game 7.
Yes. Oh, dude, they've been spectacular. Even when they were losing games in the first round, they were spectacular.
I don't think
it's
the
just Martin Jones was awful.
Like, do you think the Sharks are like, if you were to ask them before the game last night, not after, before the game, hey, listen, do you want to win on a super controversial play that everybody's going to know is wrong, but you won anyway? And they would say, yeah, but maybe I'd prefer not to win that way. Maybe I prefer to win clean.
Here's how it goes. Adam, ask that question again.
Hey, do you want to win?
Yes.
Okay. I knew you were going to do that. Yeah.
That's how it goes. But devil's advocate to bring some Sharks fans back. I know the hand pass rule. I get it. I know it. What Timo Meyer did, why is that not allowed? Because I know it's not allowed. I know the rules say it's not allowed, and they got the call wrong. But why isn't it allowed? I understand you can't close your hand on the puck. I don't think there's any situation where you should be allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. I understand not batting the puck into the net with your hand. You can't do that with your skate, but you can kick the puck to a teammate. You can... I don't know if you can elbow it.
You can bounce it off your head.
You can knee it. You can do it with your butt. You can do it with your
I
head,
think-
but you can't headbutt it into the net. Andrew Shaw had a goal called back a couple years ago. And there was another one where I was like, wait, why? Why can't he do that?
You have to score a goal with your stick.
You do.
No, you don't.
It's the game.
Absolutely no, you don't.
That's the essence of the sport.
Nope. You shoot a puck. JVR is standing in front. It hits his shoulder, goes in.
Yeah,
Zach
but-
Hyman standing in front. It hits his ass. It goes in. Nazem Kadri directs it into the net with his skate. It counts. They reviewed it, but it counts.
Yeah, but that shouldn't have counted.
Why?
You kicked it in.
Why? No, he didn't. He directed it.
All right. I think NHL players are too skilled for them not to take advantage of the ability to pass a puck with their hands. Is that fair?
They're wait, sorry.
They're
say
too
that again.
So you
Skill?
think you just allow hand passes?
I don't. That's why I'm saying don't allow it because they're too good for them not to get good at it. You know, these are world class. They're going to be too good at delivering a puck with their hand when it's in the air for them to be allowed to do it. Right? You're going to get in trouble. It's going to become a new skill, and guys are going to get really good at it and do funny
The
things.
Leafs would have swept the Bruins. Because literally, Riley, all you got to do, because they love that stretch pass play, all you got to do is flick it up, have one guy at the blue line just smash it,
Right.
and just tell Kapanen to make sure he stays onside. Kapanen would lead the league in scoring.
Right. I think they're too good for them not to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's got to be a rule.
All right, Jesse's. All right, you buried that Pandora's box. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. But also you got to score a goal with your stick, Steve.
No, you don't. You absolutely do not.
You don't.
You do not. It's going to be great. Trust me, this sport is going to be something. And like, I had some people. There was a Reddit thread like, "Listen, hockey's not done. No sport is done," which is true.
Mm-hmm.
No sport is done. Hockey seems a little bit
Not done.
less done. Hockey, you ever cut into meat and go, it's probably good. That's most sports. Hockey is, no, I think this needs to go back on the barbecue. But we all eat it anyway, and sometimes we shit ourselves, and that's why we go full diaper. E. coli.
The NFL this season is going to make pass interference reviewable. After last season, there was that, I forget which game, the semifinal game. I forget which pass interference thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyway, so it's a thing. It's across all sports, but does work.
But it's not every show.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing this every show now, and it's not because we've made it our thing and we're super stoked to do it.
Yeah.
I like talking about hockey games. I like talking about the things that go on in hockey games.
Well, no,
and I find like every show we're having to go to bat for the sport.
It's not just us, though. I mean, I think everybody's talking about it because this is the story. Like, this is the number one story. I don't think there's there's no way to dispute that. And I think the NHL has to hate that. Like, because here's what the NHL has, right? If it's not bad video review in the playoffs, it's salary cap in the regular season. When are we going to talk about the games? You know what I mean? Like, because it's that, or it's the guys who know everybody in the sport and are on radio and are talking about their buddies.
Yeah. Or Nylander is not signed.
And he's not good. And he's so bad. And they're going to have to trade him, even though his value is at its lowest possible value right now. So trade him now. Like, this is the problem. This is a league that can't get its own media to talk about it.
Yeah.
In terms of like the actual games. Other than, Connor McDavid's good. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's fast. Did you know he's fast? Yeah, he's fast. Like every show I hear, it's like, dude, we got to go past this a little bit. Let's get it into the plays. That's what makes the NFL so exciting. That's what makes the NBA so exciting. The NBA does talk a lot about who's coming to hang out with LeBron.
Yes.
But if you actually watch a game day telecast, they will actually break down the plays.
Yeah.
Hockey Night in Canada had Barb Underhill come on with Ron McLean, and she talked about how Erik Karlsson skates. And there was something about it where I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so... She's not talking about the rules or nothing. Oh, this is so nice. Yeah. She's just like, here's why he's better than you. Oh.
I'd love to know what she thinks about his ankle the way it is now. I'd like to know what she thinks is going on with that.
The bionic ankle.
Yeah. Because I saw some replays of him yesterday or the day before, and he is getting beat on plays that he would never get beat on.
I don't think it's his ankle. I know his ankle's not 100% and it's never going to be. I think it's still the groin issue from during the season.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
He's having, as a guy who doesn't know how to pivot.
He's having trouble pivoting.
He looks like a guy who doesn't.
Your groin would be the number one muscle that would be having it. Like, even just picking up hockey and playing as like an adult. Your groin's on fire afterwards, right?
Oh, yes. Mine is currently.
And what, were you playing recently, or is just...
Yes, yeah. I'm doing
Did you set it on fire?
He's like, no, it's just Thursday and my groin's on fire.
My groin is on fire, boys. What else we going to talk about?
It's a tradition out in Oshawa. We set our groins on fire. It's awesome.
It is, yes.
Every May.
Let our wives
groin
come in
fire.
And stomp it out.
Then what's the tavern you hit up?
The Tartanic.
Yeah, we do it on Tuesdays. And then we calm it down for Wednesdays. That's karaoke.
But only old country and western songs. And they're so old it's country and western.
Oh.
Not just country.
It's always really sad. You ever been to karaoke where someone is singing to someone?
Oh, gosh.
Well, it was
That's a great way to
I think that was
leave
one of
a restaurant.
Mrs. Dangle's birthday. It was something at the Bear or something. Is there a Bear Tavern that we went to? Remember that
That's
terrible?
the one oh yeah, that was the saddest thing of all time.
That was the worst. That was the worst karaoke I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
You guys, no one knows what you're talking about.
Well, okay, so we go to this tavern and it's in a strip mall.
Okay.
And for some reason, Mrs. Dangle chose this. I don't know why. It's in Whitby.
I want to say the Black Bear.
The Black Bear, and it's Jesse. The sign is so old that it's literally like MS Paint.
It's not there anymore.
With a bear.
It's not there
and,
anymore.
and
They
a
changed it to
sign.
something else.
And it was like a green sign, and then like there's like somebody ripped a picture off Google and put it up as their sign for the bar. Like,
and
I'm
this
not
is
kidding.
in Whitby, and you guys went there for SL.
Ajax.
Stupid. I don't know why we went.
Yeah.
Anyway, what happened?
This guy brought his wife, and I think the wife, like, I think she might have been like, oh my god, I hate even telling the story. I think she was losing her memory.
Oh yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
And
I do
so
remember
he
this.
just sang to her, and everyone in the bar knew what he was doing, and all of us who were having a really good time just wanted to cry.
What song did he sing?
I don't
It was-
remember.
it
I don't
was
want to
like-
remember. I hope I don't actually remember.
It was like a Willie Nelson or Woody Guthrie ballad.
God.
Something
Like it was
really slow and really
I'm uncomfortable
sad.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm not stoked that I'm telling this story.
And it was like, imagine a bunch of, this is like pre me even dating Caprice. Like we were rowdy back then.
Yes.
This isn't let's hang out at home on Friday nights and watch Netflix. This is actually
Yeah,
let's
you
go
were
and
like
party.
what, like 23?
24,
Wow.
something like that. 23, 24.
Like all of us together?
All of us together
God,
hang
that
out.
sounds like a lot of effort to coordinate. I don't know.
Which back then it was like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's
be
go.
there.
Yeah, honestly, man, that was one of the worst party nights ever. It was fun otherwise, but I just remember that going, oh, that killed me.
How did we get there?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's not look
Yeah.
in the past. Let's
Let's
look
not
to the
follow
future.
the trail back home.
So I want to ask you guys about something. Does Lokmotiv know what they're getting themselves into?
Hey,
Craig MacTavish
that's not very nice.
has signed a 2-year contract to get behind the bench of KHL's HC Lokmotiv. And you know what I got to say? Of all the things Craig MacTavish has done in his career, other than being a hockey player, and he was quite good, being a coach was the second most successful thing he did, I would argue. He coached the Oilers for 9 years. They made the playoffs 3 times.
You could argue he was a better coach than player.
Yeah.
Even because, it's not like, he wasn't Wayne Gretzky.
No.
I think he was on the Oilers that won without him, though.
Yeah, he was. And he was the last player in the NHL to play without a helmet.
Yes.
I believe he also played with Gretzky in that short stint in St. Louis.
Yes.
So-
yes, I believe you're right. And it never, I don't know, him being in management never really suited him, I thought.
No.
He was always a coach. It's
So
sort of
here's-
like Daryl Sutter.
Here's his resume, and this is weird, okay? So
Okay.
he might have retired, I think, in like 98, 99. He coached the Oilers from 2000 to 2009, 3 playoff appearances in that time, and I would imagine that 05-06 was the last one.
Oh, yeah.
He was fired as coach after the 09 season, but returned to the team in 2012 as the club's senior VP of hockey ops and was promoted to general manager the following year. So he got fired for being the coach, rehired 3 years later. So he fired, promoted, and then was demoted right after they got the Connor McDavid draft pick. Remember, he was there and they handed him the number 1.
And he was like, yeah!
And then-
by the way, you're not the guy.
And he's been the senior vice president of hockey ops again since 2015.
So demoted.
Demoted,
But still there.
But still there. Now, first off, I tweeted, "Is this the end of Club 80s?" And then someone's like, "Adam, it was right there, Club Medmonton."
That's a good one.
And I have to say, round of applause to you. That was amazing. Are we beginning to see some of the guys who have been there start to go?
Oh, yeah.
Like Club 80s, man. The guys that were the guys that are making a pile of cash being consultants.
Well, and we're like a week and a half
Yeah.
out from Ken Holland getting hired. Yeah, maybe he's just like, you know what? This could be a great thing for Craig MacTavish. He goes
Sure.
over to Russia, has some success. Lokomotiv's a good team. Mm-hmm. If he was
They've
there,
got money.
Yeah, they got some money.
And he's got lots of, like, I was joking off the top. This is a guy that has had a fairly accomplished career and has some knowledge of the game, and good for him.
Totally. I thought he was a decent coach
But there he is in that era.
in that era.
But it's kind of like what Mark Crawford had to do, right? Like, he had to go. and come back.
And he went away and came back, and lo and behold, he found himself as the head coach of the Sens.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. But he was there.
He's still a coach.
He's in the game. Is he still? Or are they?
I think they're still looking, but he was the interim coach, right?
Right. So, and you never know. Maybe you get a special player that helps raise your profile. And for Crawford, it was Austin Matthews. Lokomotiv's had some really good players go through that team. Yegor Korshkov was just there this past year. It's a shame MacTavish gets to miss out on
missed
that.
out on that stud.
Nuts. But that's AHL goal scorer, Yegor Korshkov, to you.
How's he looked?
I've only seen that. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. I was just thinking that to myself the other day, and I went, other than that first goal he scored, I haven't heard a thing about Korshkov. And then I realized the Marlies don't play for 10 days.
It's weird.
Yeah, they play
The AHL's
tomorrow.
Weird. Okay.
But no, because they swept everybody.
Yeah.
So they have a gap from May 7th to 17th where they don't play
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
By the way, we're all cheering for the Hurricanes to beat the Bruins, besides the obvious. But if the Hurricanes get knocked out, all their black aces that they have right now get sent down to Charlotte, who are playing the Marlies.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I think it's twofold. Because I think, the Marlies are playing the Checkers, which is Carolina's team, and I think in the ECHL, the Growlers are playing Florida, which I think is also Carolina's ECHL team.
Wow.
I think. So, go Hurricanes.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Boo Checkers and whatever the ECHL team is. I know the Growlers and the Solar Bears. That's it.
We were talking about what the hell we were on.
I don't know.
My brain is dead. We were just on Jesse. What the hell were we talking about?
Craig MacTavish.
Craig
Thank you.
MacTavish and Lokomotiv.
This may be the new life that he needs. And I have to be honest with you. A guy like Craig MacTavish seems like a good guy. Seems like a guy that has been there in a supportive role. You can argue about the results that Edmonton's has had, which have been, on the most part, except for that second round run, awful. I wonder if it was definitely well past time he left. It's well past time a lot of those guys leave. Sometimes, though, you have lots of talent, but you're just in the wrong spot, and you need to go and recalibrate for a little while, and then come back and be what you can be. Like, it seems like his dedication to Edmonton, and this is not against the city, but it seems like his dedication to the Oilers may have been part of the issue, right? Like, he never left. Like, if you spend no time with new people and new ideas, how do you progress?
True. 100% true.
And so I look at this and I go, this is a guy who's out there I respect this. He's leaving and going to Russia, and he's going to try to learn something new. Like, Craig MacTavish is going, I gotta stop waiting for my thing to happen. I gotta just go out and do it. This is not a reactive move. This is an active move. This is him going out and going, I'm making this happen.
And it could be a shrewd move by the team because a lot of the best players in the KHL are former NHL players.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could help attract, former NHL players, North Americans to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're Lokomotiv's top scorers from this past season, tied with 41 points each, were Brandon Kozin.
Oh, wow.
Remember him?
Yeah.
And Andrei Lokhtianov. And they both had NHL experience. And there's obviously a bunch of other guys on there. None of them as good as Korshkov, of course.
Are they the best team in the KHL? I don't know.
St. Petersburg is, I think, normally, aren't they?
Who won the Gagarin Cup just now? I don't remember.
You could just look it up.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
The thing is that, with a guy like MacTavish, you have to think that he's got ambitions beyond what he had with the Oilers. You have to think that in 2015 he wanted to be the GM that carried the McDavid era, and I wonder, honestly, it was that era that to start was such a disaster. Mm-hmm. First off, the first season, they're going to the playoffs, and then McDavid breaks his collarbone, and then they're not. They have a season to recalibrate, and it's clear Milan Lucic was a bad signing. Like, Lucic is not an Oiler if Chiarelli's not there.
No.
I don't think the Hall for Larson deal happens if Chiarelli's not there.
Nope.
Like, Craig MacTavish could have, and I think it's plausible and likely that he would have had a much better start if he had been the GM and they just left him. Okay. And at the time, it would have seemed crazy because you've been like, Are you serious? This guy's had so many chances. Are you serious?
The guys who were like the future of the teams he sort of left were involved in the worst trades.
Eberle Hall.
and Hall being the main two.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yakupov, I'll die on the hill that that was just a mismanaged pick.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a bad pick. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is it...
Nobody in the room wanted to pick him except for the owner.
Well,
That's
like,
it was a
there's
bad,
video
it was a
evidence
bad
of that.
pick because, exactly. No one wanted him except for the owner. But also, Yakupov was going to go top 5 regardless.
Sure.
The fact they weren't able to salvage a full-time NHL player out of him is a little bit their fault.
Yes.
Well, he proved to everybody that he wasn't a full-time NHL player.
By going to multiple teams.
and then leaving.
I also
Yeah.
think
Right?
had they managed him better in the early on, he had the skills to be. I think that they
Yes.
just didn't develop it properly. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
There was something there,
Imagine,
I think.
like,
Yeah.
listen, Kasperi Kapanen is not now Yakupov, right? They're different players. However, Kasperi Kapanen, first round pick, the Leafs got him for Phil Kessel, and he didn't earn a full time role until this season. Like, this is a guy that scored in the playoffs 2 years ago against Washington.
You got to be nurtured.
Exactly, and even then they were like, yeah, that's nice, but you're still not ready. And the Oilers for sure at that time were just a gong show when it came to their minor league system. They're better now. But, I wonder about Craig MacTavish, and as much as we make fun of the Oilers in that zone, the second they step out of that zone, I have respect for that. Like, a guy like Kevin Lowe, I'd be like, all right, like, I always believe in redemption stories, right? I believe that if you're terrible once, if you learn to be better, you can be better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that goes for character and that goes for results. If Kevin Lowe tomorrow said, I'm going to Siberia, where's their team? What's their team called?
Avangard Omsk.
Which is a good team, isn't it?
They lost in the Gagarin Cup final to the champions CSKA Moscow.
There you go.
Leading scorer Mikhail Grigorenko.
There you go. So if Kevin Lowe steps out and goes and does 3 years there and is successful and then gets another job in the NHL outside of Edmonton, good on you, man. That's awesome. But I feel like this groupthink that they've had has been the thing that's held them back. And it's interesting to see one major guy leave, and I wonder who's next, because I believe that this is the first domino.
And I think it's going to be unceremonious, like with Shanahan.
Well, they
and
were
the
probably
whole crew.
they were probably told, listen, find a job soon, otherwise we will find a way to end. Your contract ends June 30th, so you can either leave or we will make you leave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think MacTavish is a dumb guy.
No.
I think he probably saw the writing on the wall and went, you know what, I'm going to get back to what I like, which is coaching.
Good for him. Happy for him. It's great. Now, Esa Lindell.
Yes.
So Esa Lindell signed a big contract today. Esa Lindell, noted diver.
Yes.
He
That's
is
very
man.
blunt.
Is there a better embellisher in the NHL than Esa Lindell?
Yes.
Who?
Someone who never gets caught.
Oh, that's true.
Nazem Kadri up until 2 years ago when the word got out.
Esa Lindell, 6 years, $34.8 million. And the interesting thing about this, what's that?
It's a lot of money.
Well,
Yes.
and the Stars management has said that they believe that along with Shillington and who's the other guy?
Stars of Shillington?
Not Shillington. Jesus. Why can't I? Klingberg, sorry. Heiskanen and Klingberg, they believe that those three guys are kind of the core. Jim Nill said these are the core guys.
Future.
If you look at Esa Lindell's advanced numbers, though,
I saw those.
there is Nikita,
really bad.
Nikita Zaitsev's better.
Can we?
Actually?
Yeah, his advanced numbers are better.
Can you read them?
Yeah, I can. So I'll thank you to Heart of Lad, by the way, who because Sean at Charting Hockey, Sean Tierney tweeted like, "Oh Jesus, this is bad." So Katya Knapp from the Pension Plan Puppets tweeted this out.
Yes.
So Esa Lindell's offensive goals for is almost a -1. His offensive expected goals is a -3. His offensive Corsi for is a -2. His defensive expected goals is 0. And then his defensive Corsi for is a -1.
Now, some of you are going to be a little bit confused,
Like, what is this?
myself among you. But notice that Adam started everything with negative.
Negative. Now, Nikita Zaitsev's a negative on pretty well everything as well.
But just not as
Except
big.
he's got Esa Lindell has one that's neutral. Nikita Zaitsev has 2.
Whoa.
His offensive goals for and expected goals are negatives. His Corsi 4 offensively, and defense expected goals are basically neutral. And then you've got a defensive Corsi 4 of a -1. So, not great, but Esa Lindell is by far a worse-rated defenseman if you look at advanced stats, which we know the Dallas Stars don't.
So did he put up a bunch of points this year?
Yeah, I mean, he plays on a high-flying team, right?
No, he's a really cool guy.
He's also high
They're
character.
not high-flying at all. They have the one line.
Yeah, that line is high-flying.
Oh, my God.
He's also nice in the locker room.
Esa Lindell?
He gets you points on the scoreboard for being nice in the locker room.
Oh, I get it. Jesse's being facetious.
Jesse,
No.
I think you should reward guys for being good character guys by giving them money.
Yeah, but he's not a good character guy. He's a diver. Look at he's diving. It's embarrassing. He's going up against Bertuzzi there. He's diving. They both go in the box. Show be one of them. Bunch of jerks. Wait, which one's that? Anyway, they're out now.
So if you think now Esa Lindell's got a better reputation around hockey, I think, because he doesn't get watched as much. To be frank, I don't think he gets watched as much as the Leafs do. But if Esa Lindell's a $6 million player, Nikita Zaitsev's for sure a $4 million player. You can find a market for the guy.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm not. It's funny. People talk about the sweetener.
I don't know.
They might have to add a sweetener, but, dude, we've talked about this on the show before where we never adjust to inflation in our heads when it comes to the salary cap. For someone to be like a regular NHL defenseman, like a slam dunk guaranteed NHL defenseman who's not on their entry level contract, yeah, they're going to be a millionaire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot of guys who are guaranteed to be in the lineup every night who make less than like $2 million.
You're not going to have 6 steals on your team.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have a couple. You're going to have a steal, like a Tyler Ennis. Bit of a steal.
Yep. Alex Chason.
Sure. But you're not going to have 6 of them, no matter how many times you do it in NHL 19 yourself.
Hey,
Yes.
I'm a great GM on my PS4. Don't tell me about real life.
The only
By the
team
way-
who's tried this is Carolina, who only spent like 70% of the cap.
I'm a little disappointed in Jesse for not catching this, Jesse. NHL by Maddie on Craig MacTavish. Are you guys ready?
Oh, no, I didn't check. What is this?
You need to check, man.
I'm so excited.
There's no way he did what I think you're about to say.
What do you think he did?
I want you to read it.
No, what do you think he did?
Okay, you know how we do, but how does this affect the Leafs? But how does this affect Keith Gretzky?
Craig MacTavish was VP of Hockey Ops and looking after Bakersfield and doing lots of scouting with colleagues. Sorry, scouting of colleges, excuse me. So, one more time to start that tweet.
Yes.
Craig MacTavish was VP of Hockey Ops, looking after Bakersfield and doing lots of scouting of colleges. Keith Gretzky could move into his role.
No way! No way!
That's crazy.
You made that up.
MacTavish will look at Russia as an adventure. Shelf life for coaches over there isn't very good, but MacTavish loves coaching.
You are messing with me. There's no way.
This is a joke.
It's a bit.
He's
He's doing a bit.
We're sure this account's real, right?
Yes.
I
It's him.
maintain that I am on team fake account.
Are we sure?
It's him. It's him.
The Post Media tweets that account.
Yeah, because it's him.
The NHL world has been catfished before. I wouldn't be surprised if
but
they've been catfished.
He's been like this forever. There's no way. There's no way that everybody in hockey is catfished by this guy.
He's had funny tweets forever. What is his thing with Keith Gretzky?
I don't know, man.
Did you see he followed that up with another one?
No. Please continue.
Oh my God,
Oh, man.
it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing.
But what does Jim Matheson have to say?
About Keith Gretzky.
By the way, thank you. I want to shout out the listener that sent me that at Mike Farini. And he put hashtag content by Maddie.
So he said that, and then he said the same thing an hour later.
Oh, what
when
did
he says, with Craig MacTavish leaving Oilers, what will happen with another former NHL GM, Scott Housen, the VP of Player Development? If Keith Gretzky moves into MacTavish's job as VP of Hockey Ops, would Tyler Wright be moving from Detroit to be an assistant GM looking after amateur side?
He's doing a bit.
Remember
twice.
Remember when we read his article though, and he it's almost like he writes in circles. Like he repeats a lot of stuff. Remember that?
But
That's
also
how he writes.
he's repetitive. And sometimes he will state the same fact over and over again. Which is what Keith Gretzky is very good at. If I mentioned that, oh my goodness.
Wow, man. You gotta love Edmonton. Gotta love Edmonton.
What's your favorite type of burrito there, Maddie? Well, I like chicken with a little bit of pico de gallo, but Keith Gretzky
Gretzky bought me a burrito.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we were talking about the Leafs a little bit there, and I think it bears mentioning that Brendan Shanahan signed a 6-year extension, which is great. So 2025 is when that contract's up. And it's interesting. We went through the entire season. Elliot Friedman didn't mention it. Chris Johnston didn't mention it. They all knew it, but
Never heard it.
Funny that nobody mentioned it. And Elliot Friedman, I believe, did say, I tried several times to say, hey, what's the deal on your future?
Ooh.
And thought that maybe, the New York job might appeal to him because he was a Ranger at one point because Glenn Sather has stepped down. And I don't know if they found a replacement for him yet. And anyway, I guess, Brendan Shanahan said in his interviews, because he did a lot of press that day, that he didn't even hire an agent. He's like, this is not going to be hard for you to MLSE. Just, I would like to be here. This is where I want to be. This is probably not the best negotiation tactic, but this is where I want to be. This is the challenge I want.
He took a discount to stay with the Leafs. The hometown boy took a discount to stay with the Leafs.
Now, apparently he was
in May, just like we all predicted.
Apparently, he was making somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5. And all Elliot Friedman would say is he's well compensated on the next part of the deal. I imagine they doubled his salary.
Oh, well.
And that would be, if you look at it from
all right?
Yeah, Jesse's cool.
Your head on the table? No.
I would imagine that if you're looking at it from MLSE's perspective, now our perspective is like, wow, that's a lot of money, man. But if you're Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the amount of revenue that's gone up in Shanny's time is probably 10 times that.
It's DiCaprio. Fun coupons. Here you go. Take it.
Exactly.
Who cares? They don't care.
Like if the movie makes $300 million and you're making $30 million, you still made that much money. You know what I mean?
Fun coupons.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Shanny. Shannon plan for life. Take it. Go ahead. Here's a condo. Like
Exactly.
They don't care.
Exactly.
No, it's nothing to them.
And so anyway, interesting reflecting back on, because there was a lot of, after he signed that deal, there's a lot of reflection on how the first 5 years have gone. And I don't want to get too much into it, because if you want to know how the first 5 years have gone, listen to our podcast for the last 5 years.
The first two were bad.
But there were steady improvements. And one thing that he did say, and we did say this a little bit last summer too, but I think we got away from it, and I think we have to remember this. He said the Leafs are going to have cap issues going forward.
Yes,
this
was interesting.
This is the new reality. No good team that has money, like if you're a good team for a couple years and you are also poor, like you don't have if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, you may not be. If you're the Ottawa Senators, you can't spend the cap the same way, right?
The Hurricanes are a huge outlier.
Yes.
In how little they've spent this year and how far they've gone. Yes, you can do it. No one said you can't. It's just really rare.
And really hard
to
and
do.
It's hard to sustain it. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to have to pay for these young players eventually.
All you got to do is pay both your goaltenders less than $2.5 million and hope they carry it to the third round. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit of luck.
And that's the thing. So we're looking at this, and I think Brian Burke, especially Brian Burke.
What a jerk.
He put the fire under Leafs Nation. I wonder when Leaf fans are going to get used to cap issues in a good way. And because the problem with being a Leafs fan is that the David Clarkson contract just hangs over our head. The Jason Blake contract before that sort of hung over our head too, which was, it was just so much money for a player that could never have ever lived up to it.
I remember Darcy Tucker.
Oh, yeah. Brian McCabe's contract, the no-move clause. That was the first one.
So imagine, if you will, a player making $3 million or $5.25, which I think McCabe was. Now, for most of you, you're like, well, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, I'm old enough to remember the beginning of the salary cap. And the cap was $42.5 million.
And the Leafs had to cut $20 million in salary to get under it.
Oh, my God. It was insane. So imagine you got Tucker, who's making $3 million, and he's a little bit past his best, and he shouldn't be making $3 million anymore. That's a challenge. Now imagine you got a defender who you think is no good, and he makes $5.5 million. He makes what would that have been at the time? It was like 13% of their cap.
It's huge. It was huge.
In one player.
Huge.
You're boned.
Huge. Yep.
No wonder they sucked. They went for it at like the worst possible time.
Yep. In Truly's fashion. Now,
Well, and it screwed them for a decade.
yeah, and that's the problem with the Leafs at that point is not that they went for it at the wrong time. I think they went for it at the right time. The problem was
I think you are
that
right.
they didn't react to the salary cap. They didn't know what to do.
They bought in 2003. They bought in 2004. Then there was the full lockout, and then they bought again coming out of the lockout, and weirdly, it hurt them.
It's strange, right? Well, and so then you move on from, you got John Ferguson Jr., who I understand is now completely different than what he was with Toronto, but when he was with Toronto,
about to get a cup ring with Tuukka Rask friggin' makes me sick.
Total disaster. And if you look back at that situation, I think Richard Petty said on this show, Toronto's upper management at that time were not interested in a rebuild. So John Ferguson Jr. presented that and wanted to do a rebuild, and they said no. And so he wasn't allowed to do that. And so that's a lot of it's pinned on him, but I would put a lot of that on who owned them at the time. And ownership in Toronto was an issue. They always had money. They were just a pain in the ass because the direction they wanted to take the team was never what was best for the team.
Teachers, who likes them? No one.
So we've had situation after situation in Toronto with bad contracts where you're over the hill. Yeah. I look at this situation now, and Shanny was right when he said, listen, there's going to be cap issues going forward. We're always going to have trouble. The Leafs have one of the youngest cores in the NHL.
Yes.
And the one thing you could say about contracts, when you sign them, they always look huge, right? When you sign a star player, it always looks huge. You remember what Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, like when those contract extensions were signed, holy moly.
They're huge. And
$10.5 million.
They're getting past. They're finally getting past.
Right.
It took a while for them to get past.
It did. That was a lot. But even $11.5 million that they're paying Austin Matthews, or whatever they pay Mitch Marner this spring, because they are going to pay Mitch Marner, whatever it is that those three make, or those four make together, those four big forwards make, that will decrease each and every year. If you even look at the Nikita Zaitsev contract that I brought up a little bit earlier, when he signed that, it was like, ooh, that's a little rich, but he did have 36 points. I don't know, maybe he's good.
7 years should be decent by the end of it. Whoops.
We're now 2 years into it. They're going into the third year. And when you look at that deal for a guy that, granted, is not playing a role he should be playing, is it even that bad anymore?
It's still bad.
It's bad.
It's
decreasing in bad.
Yes. It's bad considering how tight they are to the cap.
Yes.
It's not crippling.
No.
Like there are teams where you go, literally, what are you going to do? Like I look at the Lucic deal and I'm like, do you pretend he's injured? Teams have tried that before. There's nothing. He's not good on a regular shift. You can't trade him. What are you going to do?
Did you see the note that apparently their asking price was like astronomical last season?
Yeah,
so that's why
they had a deal worked out. Apparently, they were close,
and they wanted everything.
Chiarelli was like, he screwed that team.
Oh yeah,
screwed. Yeah. But
just what a disaster.
In all honesty, though,
everything they did, every breath they took was a mistake. Like they just.
It was bad.
Oh my God, that team.
I look at the cap situation now, and I go, like, the Leafs have these contracts, and the players, granted, are not Malkin and Crosby.
Right.
But given when Malkin and Crosby were re-signed to their contracts, they were much older.
9.5 to Malkin when he signed it was unbelievable. And I remember being like, oh, okay, Pittsburgh's never going to be good again. Because you can't win a cup with a player making that much. And yeah, they did okay.
Yeah, because you play, and that's the funny thing. Like when Pierre LeBrun, I think you brought that up last podcast, Jesse, where Pierre LeBrun said, "Well, none of the teams left have a $10 million player." That is an outlier, and that is not going to be the way it is going forward. It's because it's not about the number; it's about the percentage of the cap that it eats.
Yes. So these are all a lot of these players are on, like they're deep into their deals, right? So if anything, it's a poster for. It doesn't
sign the long-term deal. It's good.
Yes, sign the long-term deal. Logan Couture was making a lot of money. Brent Burns, well, he's a couple years in, and that contract's going to be real bad by the end of it.
Vlasic's look good, but he had a rough regular season.
Whoa, I don't know about that. So that one's going to be tough. But like Erik Karlsson is going to ask for he's going to come out of the gate asking for at least 11.
Yes.
I don't know if he's going to get that, but he's going to ask for $11 million. So that's an outlier. Carolina's this unicorn. Boston, that's another one where, like, they have... Don't none of them make over $7 million, the three-headed monster? And that's an enormous outlier.
And when they signed those deals, though, it was a long time ago.
Doesn't Krejci make more than all of them?
I'm pretty sure. And Backus does. Pretty sure Backus does. Backus is 5-something, isn't he? No.
He's 6-something. I don't know.
But he was brought in as a free agent, right?
Backus's deal?
No, just the whole team.
I'm looking it up right now.
Because I think Krejci has the highest cap.
I also want to...
Krejci, 7.5. Bergeron, Pasternak, Marchand. So it's 7.25, 6.85, 6.6666. Pasternak, the devil. Yes. Marchand, Backus makes 6 flat for 2 more years. And then it falls off.
Brad Marchand on the open market isn't making 6.1.
No.
You have the greatest deal.
He also wasn't this Brad Marchand when he signed that deal.
Yeah, and also he's 31. And that contract is at least till what Brendan Shannon. It's got 6 more years.
Also, those deals I feel like caused these deals.
Yeah,
Those deals. Nathan McKinnon getting ripped off.
Yeah,
flat out ripped off. Yeah,
Marchand getting ripped off. That guy should be making double digits on the open
Bergeron,
market. Pasternak. Yeah. It's all these players going, well, dude, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be that guy.
Now you have it balancing back the other way.
You're going to pay me for what I'm going to be.
Yeah, and Pierre's article in The Athletic, it was there are no single player left in the Stanley Cup playoffs makes more than $8 million. The highest paid player left in the Stanley Cup playoffs is $8 million at Brent Burns, followed by Kane and Vlasic, who are at $7 million each. So I don't know what you want to make of that, but he was trying to make some sort of point.
I don't think there's anything to be made of it. It's just when are the contracts signed?
I mean, it is true.
It's factual information, but he tried to make a bigger point about depth and having enough money left for depth. But I don't think that. I don't think that's a point.
Something that always confused me was this idea of a bridge deal, because especially with when we started the show, PK Subban was going through that major negotiation, and so he signs this 2-year deal, wins the Norris Trophy
at $2.9 million.
Yeah,
and when they could have given him like 5 or 6, like that's all it was over. It wasn't a lot.
Subban, apparently it was an ugly negotiation, and Subban obviously sat out. He sat out the early part of a lockout-shortened season and still won the Norris.
Yeah. So he played like 30 games.
And won the Norris. But supposedly, it wasn't a nice negotiation, and Subban eventually conceded and signed the bridge. But he said, all right, in 2 years, the number's 9.
I'm going to make you pay.
I'm making you pay. And then time came around, and the Habs go, what do you want? He goes, 9. I told you. And they said, what? And he's like, what? What is the shock? What's the surprise here?
And then Mark Bergevin put down the phone and said, man, this guy's got some serious character issues.
What's this guy's problem?
Yeah.
Asking for the same number that he asked for 2 years ago before he won a Norris Trophy.
What's he want? Better suits than me?
Yes. Whoa.
He can't afford the matching glasses, though. We can't let him have that.
Mark Bergevin must have had to buy new suits this past summer because that dude is friggin' grunt.
Yeah,
he goes to the gym sometimes.
Occasionally.
We've never seen Mark Bergevin in shorts, though. Does he skip leg day?
I don't think.
I don't think he's got.
So.
I don't think he's got time for leg day, man.
Look
at those chat. Look at those
I think
things.
he finds time for leg day.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Mark Bergevin's arms intimidate his legs into being big.
You're coming to this fight.
Yeah. Deadlift, and they go Gersh because they're scared. That's how it works.
So the idea
I've worked out before. I understand.
The idea of a bridge deal is weird to me because if you're that player, why sign it? Like, why not do what William Nylander did?
Yeah. Look up Sam Reinhart's deal. He's the most recent guy who just signed a bridge deal, and he's getting ripped off too.
Now I could see mid-level guys and I don't mean this is not a slam at like a Kasperi Kapanen or Andreas Janssen or something like that. But those guys are not. They are not yet. You could argue whether they will be or not. If Andreas Janssen's a 60-point player, that will be great. If Kasperi Kapanen reaches 60 points, that'll be great too.
It'll be unbelievable.
Yet to be seen.
Yeah, exactly. It's yet to be seen. You knew with Matthews and Marner and Nylander, and I'm looping Nylander in there because if Nylander is at camp last year, man, his trajectory was the same as Marner's, like almost to the number.
He gets
exactly
at least
the
60
same.
points.
And so when you look at the situation, the way it kind of played out, it's interesting now that we've reached the pivot point that this whole idea of a bridge deal is just disappearing. Like that it can't. Why would the players sign it?
It never benefits the player. You know what's hilarious to me? I think it was on TSN, and I don't begrudge them for writing this, but they just flippantly were sort of like, Braden Point is he's just going to have to sign a bridge deal because that's really the only option.
Or not?
What? Can you imagine if that guy was the Leaf? Well, the Leafs are in a cap crunch, so
That's all his options are.
That's all Marner's going to be able to do. is sign a
nobody's gonna offer sheet Braden Point. If you're Columbus,
No, it's
You got to sign Marner for $4 million.
yeah,
the only
that's right.
option.
Sorry, Mitch. This is all we have for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
it's
we
the only
can.
option.
Like, come
Sorry,
on.
Braden. We can. We'll only give you 2 years at like even 5 or something
That's
like
insane.
that.
That's insane.
No, it's the only option, Adam.
Well, this is the thing. It's
scored
funny.
40 goals.
It's crazy how NHL GMs sold agents and players on this idea, because this idea never needed to exist. It is a total fabrication.
The bridge deal.
The fact that it exists is crazy. How is it possible that an athlete would go, yes, I'll sign for less money with more later, maybe?
There are
How is that
bridge deals that make sense.
Like who? Like mid-level players. If you're a
William
superstar-
Karlsson. William Karlsson made all of the sense
Sure.
in the world because it was the biggest outlier of somebody scoring goals out of
Yes.
nowhere.
Yes.
So you haven't earned this money really, but we still want to see because you did it once, but you're probably never going to do it
Pretty
again.
rare that a guy fresh off a 40-plus goal season signs for, what was it, 5?
Yeah,
I think he
but
signed for.
his
4.75.
year before he scored like 14 goals. Or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
So, but now he's going to go into the summer,
Yeah.
and he's not going to make major dough, but he's going to make, I would imagine, at least
Esa Lindell money.
6. Oh my God! Yeah, at least that. Can you
But
believe
you're
that you
not-
just said that sentence? By the way, can you believe that just left your mouth and was factual? Oh my
But you're
God.
not $10 million because you're never probably going to score 40 goals ever again.
Right. But I think a good outlier, that's the William Karlsson's a very good one. A guy like in an RFA situation, Andreas Janssen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sure. Yeah,
Yes.
the lower level
The
bridge.
lower level
Yeah.
guy. Okay, 1 year, bet on yourself. Andreas Janssen was playing sometimes on the top line, making, I think it was less than $1 million. And now I don't have a good idea of what on earth he's going to make. I haven't even heard anyone really take a stab at what Janssen or Kapanen are going to make.
Right.
Everyone keeps saying 4. I keep hearing
4
4
makes
with
sense.
Kapanen.
4 makes sense to me. He's not Esa Lindell money yet, but
tough.
he might be
Yeah.
one day. No, I think
Hopefully league min.
well, that's what he was making last year.
Let's hope he continues that and the cap gets.
He was making $750 or something like that. It was ridiculous.
I want him to make that again.
So I look at this. I look at this and kind of go, okay, the fabrication of a bridge deal for a star player is now gone.
For a star player.
And isn't it interesting that it's pivoted now? And I wonder, and this is going to sound Toronto-centric of me, but forgive me for this. You look at the effect that those 3 guys have had on this city and on this team. That 2014, 2015, the Leafs were nowhere. They had nothing. They had Riley, Gardner, and Kadri. Those were the 3 spots that they had.
Nylander in the system.
And 14, 15?
Yes.
They drafted him in 15.
No, they drafted him in 14.
Oh, okay.
Marner they drafted in 15.
15.
So
Matthews,
he wasn't
16.
even in the system yet. And then Matthews was
16.
but a twinkle in our eye.
So when I think that the mistakes of the former players and also the effect of these young stars on this team have combined together to create an environment where players are just not going to, like Nikita Kucherov, I think is a great example of a guy that took a bridge deal that probably regretted it afterwards and said, what the hell was I doing?
What was I doing?
When Alex Killorn's making more than me and he sucks.
If you're an NHL player, if you're a star NHL player and you take a bridge deal, like if you're a budding star, you take a bridge deal, best case scenario is by the end of it, you're getting ripped off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Best case scenario is at the end of it, you're like, I should have asked for more.
You will never get those earning years back. And that's what the GMs were banking on, and that's their job. Don't get mad. It's not a moral issue. It's business. But I look at the situation now, and I think, I wonder if Nylander, Marner, Matthews, those guys being in the pressure cooker that is Toronto and succeeding the way they have, if that's been a real catalyst to players going, and I also include the players that had to take them in the past, the PK Zubans of the world, the Nikita Kucherovs of the world, that had to take these bad deals. Nathan McKinnon having to take these deals, but they signed on the dotted line themselves as well.
Yep.
I still look at it and go, there's something there. There's got to be a reason that idea has just gone, disappeared into space.
And it's funny though, because I'm trying to think of players who took bridge deals and they all got ripped off, and now I'm trying to think of guys who didn't take the bridge deal, and now it's not great value. So a guy who comes to mind, he scored a great goal the other night. I think he scored 2 goals after we criticized him, and that was Vladimir Tarasenko. And then he completely just ignores Erik Karlsson on the game-winning goal. That guy's making $7.5 million. It looked like a steal, and now I'm like, is that guy even a first liner?
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
What?
That he makes a lot of money and is not value.
But what I'm saying is, if the player wants to make a lot of money, the team wants to pay the player an amount of money that makes sense. And I feel like there's rarely ever going to be a scenario where both are satisfied. And that to me is one where the Blues are maybe going, Jesus, we're paying this guy all this money. I really wish he'd score.
Yeah.
But now Tarasenko's making barely over Patrick Kane money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another guy is Ryan Johansson. That guy is not performing at I make over $8 million a year.
He's not.
He's good. He's not that good. You know another one? The Sens took a lot of grief for?
Kyle Turris.
Kyle Turris. The poor Preds, man. What do they got to do to buy a goal?
Or a center.
Trade with the Leafs, dude. Do it. Do it. Trade with the Leafs.
I'd take Kyle Turris on the Leafs.
Nope.
You wouldn't?
I don't want that deal.
No, the deal.
It
yeah.
runs till 2024. That's $6 million.
No.
Not doing that.
No.
But you know who's happy about that? Kyle Turris.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay, so we have one.
And he's not in Ottawa.
he won.
So
We
that's
have one. Maybe he's married. All right. His wife. So
you have
we're up to
kids?
2 people who are
The kids?
children,
Maybe.
cousins,
The cousins, yeah.
aunts,
yeah.
uncles. You know, stuff like that. But it's not a long list.
Any restaurant he goes to when he tips?
Oh, for sure. You don't know that for sure. That's up to him.
I would assume Kyle Turris is a good tipper.
He probably is. He seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
I wonder what,
I'm
what
just
he's,
saying that deal's
wonder
rough.
what he's like in an Uber.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll never know.
We never will know.
We'll
That's
never
true.
know because he got traded. You never know. You think any of the guys who got traded from that team were like, I could have been in that Uber?
Steve, can you do me a favor?
Never.
Tell me what you heard after our episode before Pete Blackburn's episode, like the one where you lost it about the Bruins. What were some of the comments that you received?
Man, I blocked it from my memory, dude. I
Did
don't
you?
remember being on Twitter much. I just remember a lot of people being really mad. A lot of people. It's funny. I'm
Wait,
I'm
hold
very,
on. Was the internet mad?
The internet was a little
If
bit
there
mad.
were like, you know, those word bubbles that marketing companies always put together, like these are your hot ticket words. These are the words that people most associate with you, and that's supposed to be helpful.
Okay.
You know those things, the word clouds, and then the bigger words are the ones that are said more, and the littler words are the ones that are said less. You know what I'm talking?
I know exactly.
If there were words that you could associate with what you remember, what would it be?
mad, salty, diaper, laughs.
How do you think people responded to this rant by Stephen A. Smith
Oh, yeah.
about his team? Because he is, and they put this up, I am tired of suffering. Now, producer Jesse,
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith is a fan of what team?
The New York Knicks.
Interesting. And what happened to the New York Knicks, Jesse?
They finished third in the draft lottery. Their ping pongs did not fall in the top two, so they didn't get Zion Williamson or John Morant.
Now, they were going to trade Zion Williamson anyway for Anthony Davis.
No,
were they not?
they
Oh,
wouldn't have
weren't.
done that. They would have kept. They would have kept Zion. It would have been Zion and KD, and hopefully Kyrie.
Because Kevin
in New
Durant,
York.
Kevin Durant is going to go to New York.
Kevin Durant's going to be a New York Knick come July.
Apparently,
You think?
Yeah.
apparently he's getting his own TV show on the Madison Square Garden network too.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just going to get a TV
He's
show.
going to be a New York Knick in like 3 months.
I love that, like, they're in the Final Four, and he's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, it's New York.
He's just not going to be there anymore.
And then potentially Kyrie as well, right?
Yeah, and then everybody's
Kyrie
saying
doesn't wanna be a
Kyrie's going to
leader.
go.
It's going to be hilarious to watch the two of those salty dogs, both of them. They're
Kyrie is annoying.
Yeah?
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. I find him annoying too, but you can
And
put
his
it in a better word.
teammates find him annoying. So he, for an entire season, he talked to the media about how his team is in turmoil. Do you think that's a good way to be a leader?
No.
He consistently, after every game, every time they lost, he'd go to the media and say, you know what? We're just not getting along. I'm the leader of this team. I have a championship. I won a championship. I know how to lead, and we're just not leading properly.
You got to do it in more of a mafioso way, like LeBron does it, where you miss a layup, and then the next day you're just not there anymore. You're
Right.
just not on the Lakers.
Well,
Right.
The other thing with that is that Kyrie asked to be out of Cleveland, which started the downhill spiral in Cleveland.
Yep.
He asked to be out because he wanted his own team. He was ready to lead. It's my team now.
And he got it, and he said no.
And he got, to me, the most talented team overall in the NBA. Like, if Hayward hadn't been out...
Outside of Golden State.
Yeah, outside of Golden State. You're right.
Yes.
But they are, like, or should have been stacked.
Yeah.
And Hayward had that nasty injury last year. And then
Yeah. So
Kyrie,
then this year, Kyrie was out for the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So then this year you come back with a murderer's row of just young guys who are supposed to take the next step. And you have Marcus Smart and Hayward, like I said, and Kyrie, and then none of them could play together.
No.
And then you're like, what is going on here? And then you find out that none of them like each other. And then midseason in it was like February, they all resolved it on a plane trip to after a game going to a game in LA, and then they're all fine again. And then the playoffs come and they choke, and none of them get along anymore.
And Kevin Durant had burner accounts to respond to comments about Kevin Durant.
Oh, that's right.
So you have that.
And they're going to go to New York
together.
To take the pressure off. What are they doing?
I know. Well, especially together. That's the part that gets me, right?
But that might not happen anymore, right?
Well, no, I think it will.
What?
I think it'll still happen. But the New York Knicks got the third overall pick, not the first overall pick.
So did they finish last or something?
They weren't. I think they were second worst.
What
last?
season are you talking about? Most seasons they're close to it.
No,
But
sorry,
the
this past.
NBA, I think it was 2 years ago or last year, they switched the draft odds so that the bottom three, they finished last. The bottom three teams have the exact same percentage to get the last pick.
Interesting. Okay.
So if you finish in the bottom three, you all have a 14% chance of getting the best pick.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then all the odds are kind of balanced. So I think second place, the final two have 8%. So it's really a crapshoot. It's a real lottery.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the Knicks finished third. Their ping pong balls didn't fall the way it should have.
So Stephen A. Smith had some things to say. And what I love about Stephen A. Smith videos is that they say, I'm tired of suffering. And then it's titled, I'm tired of suffering. And then he writes, I can't take it anymore. I just can't. And then it says, at Stephen A. Smith, comment below. As though people wouldn't. So I'm going to play this for you. It is going to be admittedly a little bit low. Jesse's going to have to fix it in post-prod. Because for some reason, this computer doesn't translate well into this recording system, and I don't know why.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
This is just a little podcast we do in our basement.
It's okay. You can't ask for perfection. It's too much. Now, let's do this.
This is look, man.
That's a great start.
I am suffering. It's hard to take. How many years? I'm not talking. I'm talking to you as listeners of this radio show, as a native New Yorker. But I got to admit, Jonathan, John Winthrop, I'm talking to God himself. I need prayer. I need my prayers answered for just once. Please.
Which team is he talking about?
Knicks.
Just one time.
What's the best
when
one?
it comes to these Knicks.
Leafs.
Last time the New York Knicks won a championship, I was 5 years old.
Wow.
At least he was alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm 51.
Wow, 51.
I was 5.
That's a long time.
I was 5.
5. It's not 67.
I was 5 years old. Do you understand the magnitude of my drama?
What? The magnitude
And damn it, I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about New York Knicks fans everywhere. We have suffered.
Oh, and the video's buffering. Sorry about that.
That was perfect. He turned into Bernie Mac there for a second.
He did. There is. So I'll fast forward to that part. But in the meantime, Steve, the reason I asked you, the reason I asked you what you had been called is because your rant is not dissimilar to his. Put your headphones back on.
Oh,
We got
I
more.
know.
We got more.
We have suffered. And I understand everybody's not a Christian. You got Muslims out there. You got Jewish folks out there. You got Catholics out there.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
You might have Buddhists out there, for crying out loud. Everybody pray. If you're a Knicks fan, it is time to come together and get on our collective knees and point to a source higher than ourselves and say, my goodness, for one time, good Lord, please, 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 get the number 1 overall pick, because the Knicks need something. Because if this doesn't happen, you know what's next, right?
What's next? Tell me, Steven.
We're left. Because let me tell you something. Let me stop that. Let me stop.
No, go off, King.
Let me reel in myself emotionally.
No, don't waste time with that.
Cool. It's just hard.
I know.
I'm tired of suffering.
Me too.
I'm tired of suffering.
Are we?
And that's it. So what's funny there's a few things, because, I mean, I know Stephen A. Smith doesn't care about hockey, but, like, I mean...
a lot of people sent this to me.
I look at that and I go, man, that's similar, not dissimilar.
I looked at it, Adam, and after a rough week last week, I told myself everything's going to be all right.
Did you?
Everything's going to be fine. What do you think, you're going to make a career out of this?
Well,
I think someone has.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that gets me, is that every time I talk to there are a few people, the younger end of sports broadcasting sort of gets what we're doing.
Oh,
the younger guys get it. The older guys do not.
He's
And
51 years old.
I know.
51!
and they're like, you can't be fans of a team and then actually be professional broadcasters for a sport. Yes, you can.
Yes, you absolutely
you can.
And I've said it before. I respect the journalists. Like, CJ's come in here and he's been like, well, I had to, you have to shed all that. And we've had a few reporters go, well, I had to
But we're not journalists.
shed all that. No, I know. But
Stephen
there
A.
are
was.
reporters who are like, well, I'm not a fan. And I just don't believe them. Like, I think they're lying.
I think it's fair to say you can pull for the team that you're covering because you want to keep going.
Yeah, but isn't that biased?
Sure, but what the hell what does it matter? It's sports.
It doesn't. I'm saying I don't think it matters, but if you do it under the guise of you're being fair and balanced about it.
Oh, okay.
That's when I think it starts to be dishonest. People complain about Boston coverage, and I'm like, well, what do you think you're getting?
Yeah.
They are very just blatant about it and in your face.
I don't hate that, though. I like that.
No, me neither. Joe Bowen. Well, yeah, Joe Bowen.
Yeah.
That's what he does. What did you think?
I interviewed Joe Bowen once, and he said, the reason I'm like that is because I'm broadcasting to fans of this team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am one of them. Why would I be anything else other than what I am? And do you think that Jack Edwards in Boston feels any different?
No.
And is Jack Edwards suffering?
If you're a local guy and you're trying to just go straight down the middle, I think you're totally missing.
You're missing the idea.
Missing the point.
If your job
National's
is to,
different.
If you're breaking trades and stuff like that, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Stephen A. Smith's national. He's national television, national radio on ESPN.
But he's open, at least, about. He's not trying to say he's impartial, though. He's going, I'm a Knicks fan. And here's his rant, in case you missed it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In case anyone thought, I didn't have a bias towards the Knicks. By the way, here you go.
Right.
And then everything he says about the Knicks, there's this, it's like a flavor to it. You go, if he talks about how good they're going to be, all of a sudden there's just this little, well, it's Stephen A. though, and how he likes the Knicks a lot.
Who cares?
And if he goes off in a rant about no, I'm saying that's good.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's good.
You know why that piece is brilliant? And a lot of people be like, that's just a guy yelling into a microphone.
Never heard it.
You know why that piece is brilliant?
Why is it brilliant?
Because this is a guy that he's emotional all the time, right? That's Stephen A. Smith's brand.
Never.
Passionate guy.
Never, not once.
But what you get from that is what it's like to be a fan broadcasted on the radio.
Yes.
And I think we're missing that. Like, I think that he is a guy that right there was every irrational, illogical fan feeling like they got the 3rd overall pick.
How many years?
They're still going to get a good player. It's not, they might get RJ Barrett or who's the other guy?
They'll probably get Barrett.
So they're probably going to get RJ Barrett, who is the best
Soft
Canadian probably ever.
Soft Canadian.
And he's complaining about it. They're saying RJ Barrett is going to be a better NBA player than Zion Williamson will.
No, he's not.
They're not?
No.
I've heard that suggested.
No. Zion Williamson is a once-in-a-lifetime player.
Okay.
Yeah.
People much smarter than me have suggested that, right, though? Am I wrong?
No, I don't think anybody
I have
said
seen
that.
that.
Show me proof.
Dude.
He's not at all.
Are they the two who played for the same team?
They both played for Duke.
I have heard this. It might have been from Adam.
It wasn't for me. How am I going to come up with a take like that?
In no world
am I going to come up with a take like
any smart
that.
NBA analyst saying Zion.
Then I guess there are a lot of dumb ones because I've seen it.
Anybody's going to be better
I'm
than Zion.
repeating what they tell me, okay?
Are you trying to tell me Skip Bayless does not exist? RJ Barrett will be better than Zion will. Never makes eye contact at all.
I like the way his head bobs, too. He's like
Dude, I don't get him.
I don't get it either, but people like him.
In terms of hype, it's like LeBron coming out of high school, Durant, and then like Anthony Davis, and then Zion, and like all-time hype guys ever. So Zion's he's gonna be better than Barrett.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yes,
hey, I don't know.
anyways.
What the hell do I know? I'm just repeating what dumb NBA guys are saying. Now,
I'm just repeating what I think Adam told me.
Now, what I loved about that Stephen A. Smith thing is he is still a fan.
Yes.
And I think that matters.
Yes.
I think it matters to still be a fan. I think it matters to be irrational sometimes. Yes. I think it matters to be passionate and not need a reason.
And aware of how irrational you are.
Sure. For sure. And
which
I bet
sometimes you miss.
If he had a co-host, which he really doesn't need, but if he did have a co-host, later on that co-host can be like, remember that Knicks rant? And he'd be like, yeah, I know. I lost it. But I was well within my rights. So anyway, that made the rounds. That was like definitely the number one thing in sports yesterday.
I like how you're like, the best thing to do with Stephen A. Smith is leave him alone. And then tomorrow, Max Kellerman's going to come on. The Knicks have been the best basketball team of the last 40 years. Prove me wrong.
It's true. Max Kellerman he got right. He didn't even get the take right, but Kawhi did something so big that he's like, funny. He doubled down on his take.
I got it. I nailed it.
A second round basketball shot. And he's like, yep, there we go.
More clutch than Kobe Bryant's. Oof. Winner of God knows how many rings.
Now,
sorry?
Five. One for the thumb.
A bunch of Boston sports outlets, especially Barstool, are having a field day with this, but I wanted to bring it up because in this particular case, like Barstool can be...
That's an interesting one that you said that because they're not Boston. They're international.
But they're Boston.
But they're very Boston.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
of course, and that's fine. Whatever. A guy named Patrick Peterson, 1T, has been suspended 6 games for PEDs.
In what sport?
In the NFL.
That's a lot of games.
Now,
half the season.
What's interesting about this is Patrick Peterson was one of the people that said Tom Brady disrespected the game during Deflategate. One of the major proponents.
No.
So Barstool and a bunch of others, I think Deadspin too, have just been dunking on this guy all day.
Oh my God.
And he deserves it.
He does. He said,
There's no more moisturizer or tissue at any local convenience store near the headquarters.
May 11th, 2015. Well done at NFL, #Deflategate, when the Brady suspension didn't come down the way he wanted it to. And then he also, later on, I wonder what the NFL is going to do about this new incident. Probably nothing, referencing Brady. And someone's like, don't disrespect the GOAT Brady. And he's like, he disrespected the game. I said nothing wrong.
Man, sports fans from Boston just have these giant metal filing cabinets covered in Pats, Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins stickers, and they're just full of receipts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're just full of receipts.
What's funny about Boston is that when you read, especially Red Sox coverage, it's just they eviscerate the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are good. Like, if the Red Sox are not winning 105 games a year, it's awful to be a Red Sox player.
Imagine the standard.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And apparently Patrick Peterson will lose $3.8 million in lost wages for the 6-game suspension. So that's rough. But you could argue that he would have never got the contract in the first place had he not taken the PEDs and hit it for so long.
And that's the circle of roids.
That's what people argue all the time. People say like Robinson
My favorite
Cano.
Disney song.
Robinson Cano got, what is it, $250 million contract, Jesse? You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
With the Seattle Mariners. And then he got busted a couple years later for PEDs.
And so he paid the PED tax.
He paid the PED tax.
But I'm still rich. Ha 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 ha. I can still buy an island.
At a certain point, you'd be like, yeah, I might too.
Wow.
Listen, if the
Yeah.
dude,
I don't know.
if the difference is 250 grand or 250 million, I'll take the steroids. Thank you.
Yeah. And
I'll
hey,
pay
maybe
you
I'll
the
get away with it.
Yeah, he will. He did.
All right, so you get $50 million. You don't take steroids. You get $250 million, but you lose $50 million because of you took steroids. But you get $200 million in the end. Which one are you doing?
Well, if you get 50 million, that's fine.
Worst case.
Yeah, you're taking the 50, and
I think
you're not a cheater.
I think I can do good things with $50 million. I can invest those right.
50, not a cheater. 200, cheater. Which one do you want?
And you got a bunch of people in your ear going, just cheat. Everyone cheats. You should cheat.
You might get away with it.
You might get away with it.
And
Worst case scenario, you'll be Chris Colabello.
Worst case scenario, you can blame the FedEx guy for 6 months.
Or bad meat.
Did you hear about that story? Ryan Braun? He
Ryan
destroyed
Braun.
this poor guy's life. This guy making like 40 grand a year, and Ryan Braun's like, yeah, it's his fault, blah, 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 blah. And
How did you get the guy's name?
I don't even know how it happened. The story's convoluted, but then, like, of course...
Did it come out that he definitely
He finally
did it
came out
sure?
and admitted it. And, like, so he'd gone through the process of lying to everybody and destroying this one guy's life at FedEx. And then was like, yeah, by the way, I did it.
And he knows he doesn't have enough money to sue him for libel.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, yeah. No, I think I'd take the 50 million in that case. But if we're talking hundreds of thousands versus hundreds of millions, I'm taking the hundreds of millions. Give me the steroids. Let's go. Don't care. We're talking generational wealth.
I would love to know the story of, like, the best people, like, to ever play sports in the era of roids.
Ken Griffey Jr.
What? Well,
Ken Griffey Jr.
I hope so.
It was. He was in the home
hope
run
so.
race up until the end, the big home run race to beat Willie Mays is 62, right up until the end. And I think he had 50-something that year. And Sammy Sosa ate Sammy Sosa and became Sammy Sosa. Like, if you see Sammy Sosa's rookie card, he's like a twig.
Even Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds
led the league in stolen bases.
He was a stolen base king. And then all of a sudden he started hitting home runs. And
Pumpkinhead.
Looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Giant
Crazy.
head the size of a
Ask
Goodyear
another
blend.
question because it was stupid.
Stupid. Because it was stupid. That's one of the most underrated sports clips ever.
It's great.
I never see it on any highlight shows.
Used to be on the top 10s all the time.
Well, you know what? I'm glad it's not there because it was stupid.
Ken Griffey Jr. was the best baseball player in that era.
See, that's not what I mean, though. I mean guys who were given every opportunity to do steroids and chose not to do it.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Because he was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Ken Griffey. I guess if you were a good baseball player
Back
and didn't
then?
do steroids, you were automatically
Alex
a good guy.
Rodriguez, Ken Caminetti, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, all the big home run hitters.
All of them.
And Ken Griffey Jr. out-hit those guys. He could hit for like slugging percentage. He could get on base. He could run. He could play center field, which, Jesse, easy position, right?
Not at all.
There you go.
It's incredibly hard.
This is the point. That Ken Griffey Jr. was amazing, and it's unfortunate he got injured so much in Cincinnati because I don't think we really fully saw what he could have been. But wow, I used to play Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball, and it was amazing.
2 days before Thanksgiving in 2013, Ryan Braun had dinner with Dino Lorenzi Jr., the man he accused of tampering his tainted steroid urine test. So they've apparently made amends back in 2013, and Ryan Braun brought his fiance at the time to the guy's house, and they had dinner.
And they had dinner, and he gave them a bag full of please don't sue me money?
Details of the dinner have never been released, but apparently they're on good terms. So there you go.
Well, he apologized. Probably gave him a bag of money. Paid his tax.
Yeah.
You've read Shift Work by Ty Domi, right?
No, I haven't yet.
You haven't?
I haven't, no.
So he tells the story of him and the dude from Philadelphia who jumped into the penalty box.
Oh.
Or went through the penalty box. And
Yeah.
Ty beat him up. So Buddy was... I'm severely simplifying the story. You should pick up the book. But basically, the guy was getting ready to sue Ty Domi because he's like, well, a professional athlete punched me in the face multiple times at a hockey game. I think I can sue him for some money.
Mm-hmm.
And the story, there's a lot of yada, yada, yadas, and now they're friends. And I'm like,
Pay the tax, man.
I think
Just
he might have
pay the
paid the tax. And now we're friends because, he's a good guy.
Oh, he probably is a good guy. He's probably just a maniac,
Yeah,
like Ty Domi was.
He's a good guy. I never had to give any money, for sure.
Whatever, yada,
Because
yada,
he's
yada.
just a good guy.
Pay the tax.
I don't know.
Paying the tax.
I don't know.
God,
God, that was the best.
That was a very fun night. I remember watching that. And watch the lawsuit, Ty. Watch the lawsuit.
Do you remember the school bus the next day?
The school bus.
The school bus after Ty Domi punched a fan?
No, what happened?
Oh, I just loved
like
when
the
something
kids-
crazy happened the night before and then taking the school bus.
Oh, okay. So for me, it's interesting. First off, I never took the bus because I walked to school.
Oh, yeah, because you were super close.
But the second thing was my friends were not huge Leaf fans. My friends were soccer fans. So
Right.
I didn't really get, I didn't have hardcore Leaf. I was really the hardcore Leaf
It's
fan.
a weird neighborhood in that regard.
Yeah, we had a lot of people just hardcore soccer. I mean, we had a very multinational community.
Yeah.
So they were big soccer fans. They were big Italian and Premier League fans. Mm-hmm. So
I just remembered the school bus the day after Potvin beat up Hextall. It was it was the best.
It must have been
the
amazing.
entire way to school. It was just the best.
all right, hey, let's do this press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Which is from Jordan Rivera. There it is. Jordan Rivera writes, Steve, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday, the final episode of Game of Thrones?
So I've seen some Twitter memes, so I know some things. Spoiler alert, everybody. I think
That's funny.
I think the guy who the show is based around will win. It's Jon Snow.
Yeah, he's
do you
gonna
know
die.
that?
He's got to die.
No.
Man, I was so upset.
He's
when
already died once, and they brought him back to life.
I'm upset. Spoiler alert. I'm upset that Cersei died. I'm upset.
Yeah?
Because I wanted her to win.
worst way!
Yeah, I was like, come on, someone stab her or something.
No, I thought it was a beautiful ending.
Why did you think that was
Beautiful
good?
incest love. You get crushed by the castle.
Crushed by the castle that you worked so hard to get into.
I thought it was a really good ending
Okay,
to their journey.
Really?
Yeah, I
That they
thought it
died
was,
together?
Yeah, I thought it was a little romantic, and I got what they were going for. And I thought, I was like, this works.
Isn't she like one of the most evil characters on the show?
Yeah,
Yes,
but he loved
but
her.
she's
so love.
dead now.
Yeah, but
You know, like it's
but
not
she
like
wasn't killed. Like I feel like
she
all
was. She was killed.
No, she wasn't. All the main
she
characters
was
were killed
killed.
in brutal ways.
No, they weren't.
She just got splat. She died. Like she died. In one
She
fell-
died.
She didn't bleed out and gargle and like Game of Thrones. I feel like I don't know. I've seen the compilations.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like they were all like gruesome and gory for the sake of it. And this was just it went dark.
Yeah, and every death doesn't have to be that way.
But that one probably does, doesn't it? That one probably does. I don't know. I know fans are crying and shitting their pants because the season seems rushed, but all the deaths are so fast.
Yeah, they're coming quick because there's not enough time for anything.
Night
It should have
King.
been more episodes.
Night King
Yes.
explodes, and then the whole army
should have been 2 more
explodes
seasons.
also. What?
Two
And
more
prob-
seasons. 2 more
You
seasons.
could just, I think they should have done an extendo this season.
Maybe
you know?
10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because there's
Start it earlier.
There's 3 whole months that just go poof.
Yeah, and they travel way too fast. Like there's we're going to King's Landing, and then a couple minutes later they're in King's Landing.
Like it used to
But
take them an entire season to
there
get from
are
one end to the other.
seasons of Arya traveling this distance that they show in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
They're
but nothing
done.
happened.
And then
was
nothing
uneventful.
happened in that time. So those little things are very annoying.
And
But I don't mind the way they structured the plot and she's the Mad Queen now and she's following in her father's footsteps and that whole thing, and now she's destroying the town and Jon Snow betrayed her by telling Sansa and all this. Like I don't mind the plot, just it should have so rushed though. It's not enjoyable.
here's how it ends: Daenerys Khaleesi, whatever her name is,
Mother of Dragons,
yes,
Breaker of Chains.
she dies by burning.
She can't.
But we don't see it. It's all off camera
Yeah,
and
she
implied.
can't.
She
She
actually
can't
can't.
burn. She
She's
walks
like,
through fire.
She walks through fire.
Oh, damn.
That's how she made the dragon eggs. She held the eggs and she went through fire.
And so does the
became a
Ice
dragon.
King somehow.
He couldn't burn either.
Remember she?
Oh yeah.
like-
He had to be stabbed.
All right.
But he was stabbed with dragon glass. But yeah.
This is stupid, right?
No.
This is beyond suspension of disbelief, and it's just shoddy, right?
It is.
No.
It's been a shoddy season. It's been a shoddy season. Listen, I love this show, and
Yes.
I'm not. I liked Transformers. Okay, so I am not an overly critical entertainment guy. I watch things for what their value is. I don't need everything to make sense. There are plot holes in my favorite things. I don't care. There's plot
Yes.
holes in life, people. Who cares?
Well, there's
the
Yes.
point I'm trying to make is that the Game of Thrones built a brand. They built it on suspense. They built it on surprise.
and gore.
And a little bit of gore and a little bit of sex, too. That's disappeared as well.
Yeah.
The gore and the sex have completely disappeared.
Well, there's no time for sex. It's war.
It's true.
War and
Nobody
gore.
has sex during war.
No.
Nobody. My thing is, they've taken the brand that they created, which is the reason you fell in love with the show, and they've gone, yeah, I don't know. And that's like, it's, the about face that you saw with the Dragon Queen in the last episode. While I agree, we should have seen it coming because it's been said for
I swear Pete Blackburn called it weeks ago.
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been prophesized since season 1.
Yes.
So that part shouldn't. It's not that shouldn't be surprised because it was.
Yeah.
The way it happened, though, you're like, I
How did it
understand
happen?
someone being nuts.
Yeah.
And I understand someone having that drive that is so. Like, there are world leaders, even today,
Yes.
that got to where they did by literally burning cities down.
Yes.
That's how it happens. That's how it used to happen in medieval times or whenever this is supposed to be based. It happens.
So this is it's based in 1902.
1902. That's
Yeah.
right.
The
Pre-World
dragons-
War One.
Yeah, dragons
That's
usually
right.
exist, yeah. And then World War happened.
Yeah,
Where'd the dragon go?
Dragons
Yeah.
and the messenger pigeons. Where'd they all go?
I'm surprised they haven't talked about the forming of the NHL. Like the early days.
I know that's in the prequel.
No,
Do the Montreal Maroons ever come
this
up?
is the NHA
do
years.
a couple
NHA
times.
years, Steve. NHA.
Oh, okay.
No, but the point here is
Vancouver
that
Millionaires.
when context is key and the way you work up to something is key. And I feel like with this, they were like, she's supposed to go crazy anyway. People will
Yeah.
understand.
Ah.
Rather than building it the way they should have. It should have been more than a couple scenes of her without makeup on going, okay, now I'm going crazy. There
Yeah.
should have been signs about this. There should have been something that you go, wow, this isn't really gonna happen, and then she breaks.
I just think there wasn't enough time.
Agreed.
I think they 6 episodes was too little.
Agreed.
I think you could have maybe you could have done it in like 12, but it feels so condensed.
Yeah, I think Jesse's absolutely right. That's why I said 2 seasons. If you want to do 2 seasons of 6,
Sure.
12 episodes would have been great.
Yeah,
Think of how
yeah.
much.
Well, it's
and-
normally 10, right?
Yeah. Well, and you got to think about this from an HBO perspective. And you have to understand, like in the last couple episodes when I've talked about this, the episode, the dark episode and everything with
Yes.
I
Which
am a
was
huge.
episode,
The Battle
what,
of Winterfell.
3?
Yeah.
So
That was episode 3. So it was a couple weeks ago. I am a huge HBO fan.
Yes.
Like I love some of their. I love Bill Maher. I love John Oliver. I loved a lot of the shows that they created. Rome was another one that only had 2 seasons, and they had such a great first season and fucked it up in the second one. There was some brilliant programming there. And what I love about HBO is it's the original Netflix, right?
Yeah.
It's the one that understood that
Yes.
if you do subscription and no commercials,
No commercials.
and you really put money behind your product and you really make the storyline deep.
The Sopranos.
Exactly. Yes. And there's the list of great shows on HBO is endless.
Yeah.
It's huge.
True Detective, Silicon Valley, Veep, Girls,
God,
The
yeah.
Leftovers. It's endless.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it's so disappointing that at this point, with the clout that HBO executives have, that this is their biggest show ever, and people are going to watch it. And what's going to happen is you're going to say, first 7 seasons are great.
And it's not going to be like the Sopranos ending, which is actually, I'm going to say it's actually like artsy.
Or a Breaking Bad ending, which everybody
Bad
says is perfect.
Well, that's
and
AMC,
I still
but
haven't
yeah.
seen. Yeah, AMC. Sorry,
Yeah,
but
but-
that's what you're going for,
Yeah,
right?
you want something where everyone's like, no, this is perfect.
Because you have to watch. Even
I
if
thought
you,
Breaking Bad was perfect because if you wanted to, you could just have season 7.
I've never
If
watched.
you wanted to, you could just start the show.
I haven't watched right to
over.
the end yet. I just haven't had a chance to.
What?
So I
You've
know,
got
I know,
to.
it's nuts. So don't
got
blow
to.
it for me.
No, I'm not.
No, I know he does. It's
I'm
okay. But
No, you don't, though.
exactly.
It's the perfect ending.
So-
to the
Yeah,
show.
oh yeah, it's really good.
Going for perfection with a show like this should be the goal.
So as someone who doesn't watch the show, let me allow this critique. So here's what I understand.
Okay.
There's basically the goodies.
Mm-hmm.
There's the baddies, which is Cersei and all them. And then there's the night zombie ice things people.
Which was supposed to be the real
night
threat.
zombie ice
which
things.
They were supposed to be the real threat.
Which was compelling over 7 seasons because you're like, okay, they're bickering amongst humans doing all this politicking, but the actual threat is life itself amongst humans, and the death is going to take over. And then they got there, and they're like, oh, we could just stab him.
Oh, she's just gonna come out of nowhere and stab him.
Yeah.
Like that part. That's weird, right? That's weird.
It's a little weird. But then, and then I was like, okay, this is okay because Cersei, she predicted this. She's like, okay, I'm going to hold back because I know this threat of death of humankind being demolished isn't real. I know this is, you guys are going to take care of this and you're going to come for me. And then she was right about that. And you're like, okay, all right, you're still doing something here, Game of Thrones. And then they went down to King's Landing, and then in an episode, that whole shit's just done too.
Well,
it's like you're rushing everything.
And one of the dragons dies. Okay, so you have to imagine, okay, you've got a scorpion. You know what a scorpion is, right? Those, not like the animal, but you know what a scorpion, like, weapon is.
Oh,
So it's an ancient Roman crossbow, essentially, that was enormous. And there are these big, fat arrows. You imagine they're 6 feet long. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
So they hit a dragon mid-air going, okay, if you're shooting, okay, even a machine gun.
Yeah.
If you see them in like World War II movies, they're trying to lead the plane, right? They're trying to get ahead of the plane so the bullet and the plane arrive at the same time.
Yeah.
So they somehow managed to hit with a scorpion, a one-shotter. They hit a dragon 3 times mid-flight, and they've never shot it before.
Yeah.
3 times they hit it.
They just kill one of the dragons. Oh, we got to eliminate one of the dragons to make this more even. So they kill it, and then the next episode,
No. With that same scene, the most ridiculous thing is Daenerys is on her dragon, and the next dragon is flying next to them. So they kill the one dragon, and you're like, okay, we're gonna suspend some disbelief and pretend that Euron got 3 good shots in and killed the dragon. Daenerys can fly around this crew of boats and destroy all of them with fire because she's riding a dragon.
So she flies directly at them.
Instead of flying around boats that can't turn around and hit her, she goes directly at them and then flies away.
And they
She's
all
gonna destroy the whole army.
And that's with like 5 boats.
Yeah.
And then so for the next episode, the Battle of the Queens, there's like 40 fucking boats with scorpions on them. She flies in with 1 dragon, roasts them all. And the entire wall of King's Landing has scorpions on it. They all miss.
Yeah.
All of them.
And she roasts all them too. And then starts to roast the people in the city. Are you kidding me with
again,
that?
here's my understanding as someone who doesn't know the show. There's the goodies, the baddies, the ice people, and the Iron Fleet that doesn't matter.
The Iron Fleet's part of the bad people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
They bought them, and then Euron joined in with Cersei.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're part of the baddies then.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
So there's still the 3 groups.
Sure.
Okay, episode 3 of 6.
Yes.
Ice baddies die.
The good people go and they take care of the baddies.
The goodies go and take care of the ice baddies.
The dead
That's
people,
right.
yeah.
The episode
zombies.
4, they got to take care of the people.
They got to
baddies.
move down to take care of the people baddies.
Yeah.
They got to take care of the people baddies.
But they lose a dragon in the process.
So
3 lucky shots.
So,
but
episode
they
4.
won. They
they won in
baddies are-
episode 5.
So yeah,
in
episode
episode 5.
4 is making the plan to kill the bad people at
It's
King's
the
Landing.
season's worth of traveling in 1 episode.
Yes.
So then,
Which is absurd because there's an entire season of them traveling.
Yes.
So episode 5, they defeat the baddies. So episode 6 is what now?
It's Daenerys.
Because Daenerys
So
is the
now-
real
Daenerys
bad
is the
guy.
new baddie.
Now we have the final piece, which is who's gonna sit on the throne. So we've eliminated all these people, and now there's only the good people and Daenerys left. So we got to solve that.
And they're going to solve
and that'll
that
be
in
it.
1 hour.
And that's it.
No, I think it'll be like an hour and a half. But
Yeah, it'll be like a movie. Mini movie.
It's such a shame because every time we told you to watch the show, we were right.
Yeah.
And now you have a legitimate reason not to watch the show.
I know.
And it's such a shame because the first 4 or 5 seasons are incredible, especially Tyrion, not Tyrion Lannister, the father. Who's the dad?
Oh, the one who died on the toilet.
Dude, dude,
Yeah.
that
What's
guy
his
is the
face?
best fucking character in the show.
Well, and
He's
now
so
I've gone through,
awesome.
Now I've
yeah.
gone through too many rabbit holes and like I've seen a bunch of clips.
Yeah, you should watch it. but,
Even like Joffrey's little run is one of the best things in television.
Well, he's a
history.
hateable little shit.
have you
Oh,
ever?
it's amazing.
You've never hated anything the way you hate Joffrey.
I remember
Oh, yeah.
living through those moments, and every Monday you come in, you talk about that, and you're like, "Oh my God, Joffrey did this!"
There's something,
and you can't believe it.
There's something so beautiful about writing a character everyone hates.
Oh yeah.
You know how many fictitious arguments I've shouted through the windshield at Professor Umbridge? She's
the one from
talking all
Harry
this
Potter.
shit to Harry, and I'm like, you know what I'd say? And like,
Yeah.
and Snape talking all that. He was so cruel in The Prisoner of Azkaban, and he didn't need to be. You know how many times I've shouted that through the windshield? It's hard.
By the way, Snape's not a hero.
I'm saving that for my Harry Potter video.
He's not a hero.
I'm saving that for my Harry Potter
Snape
video.
is not a hero.
I'm
We should
saving
just
it for
do
my
a Harry Potter podcast. Why wouldn't we do
I'm
bonus
not-
episodes on
honestly
that?
should.
You can find a new producer.
So
Somebody called Chris.
I look at this and I go, I look at the situation and I go, come on, guys.
Yeah.
When you watch, if you're the HBO execs, you've had a year and a half to do this, and you watch these episodes, could you not have said, you know what, guys, we're going to delay this? This isn't good enough.
There's one character that I've experienced through clips that I feel like was cool from the moment he's introduced till his death.
Varys.
The Hound.
Oh, the Hound was cool too.
Yeah, the Hound was pretty
Varys
cool.
was cool though.
And his death I thought was perfect.
Yeah, the Hound. I liked it. I think it can't go out any other way, really.
Yeah.
It
The
fights his
Clegane Bowl?
brother.
Yeah.
Had to be that way.
the Clegane Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That was fun. It was gonna happen.
I
It
liked
happened.
Varys' arc too. I thought he was cool because he was such a shifty character.
Which
and
one's
then
that again?
He's the bald guy that's a eunuch, and he basically
Oh, does he die?
because he tried. Funnily enough, he tried to poison Daenerys.
Yeah.
And they don't even come out and say it, but he did try to poison her through the kitchens.
You know what would have been fun if they had the Battle of the Eunuchs, and
Oh, is there more than one eunuch?
yeah, because every
Yeah, it's actually
every
great.
Unsullied is a eunuch.
Yeah.
So what's the dude in his girlfriend died?
Grey Worm.
The Grey Worm. Yeah, if Grey Worm and Varys fought, and it's
Varys
the
had an
Battle of the
army.
Eunuchs.
His name is Grey Worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that he...
No.
No?
That he doesn't
I think
have a
it
Grey
does.
Worm?
I think it might.
Does it? Yeah.
I think
don't
it might.
remember.
I think it might have a little something to do with that.
Curious name.
He's a pretty badass character.
He's a cool guy.
yeah.
How is one guy called the Hound and another guy's called Grey Worm?
Mm-hmm.
The Mountain is pretty descriptive.
Yeah.
And the Hound, who never loses a scent, the entire show makes sense. Grey Worm, kind of makes
Grey
sense.
Worm
No.
is a good...
I did
I
like
don't
what
think
they
it
were
said he likes
doing
fishing.
with Arya last episode. Being like, hey, this is kind of like, this is the actual war that's going on for like the people. Like she was amongst the citizens.
Right.
Like, okay, all this carnage going on, but like there are actual people being affected. And Arya's kind of going through that, being like, burn the ash and all that.
Right.
But it still wasn't true.
I also think there's no way going into next episode, Jon Snow was so closely associated with Daenerys that the North will turn on Jon. Jon will die. Has to die.
Really?
Because he is, even though he's been the good loyal guys die. And especially in this show. His father died, he will die. He picked the wrong side. Well, he picked the side that was the rightest of the wrong. And then he has associated himself with Daenerys Targaryen, who just roasted an entire city.
Unless he's the one who kills her.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's done.
I think he's in love with her. I don't think he killed her.
Yeah, I think he's done, man.
Does
He's done. But I don't think he's in love with her anymore.
Why is her
No?
name Khaleesi?
Because it's a name for the original tribe that she is with, that she's the original queen of, the Dothraki. They call them Khaleesi, queen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she marries the Dothraki king, Khal Drogo, and then she becomes Khaleesi when
Is
she
that
marries him.
Aquaman?
Yes.
Okay.
That is Aquaman.
What's his name?
Son of my son.
Khal Drogo.
Star of
No,
my
it's
stars.
real life.
No, his real life name is Khal Drogo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
And he changed it, yeah.
So, no, his real life name is Aquaman.
He commands the sea.
By the way, apparently, didn't Aquaman the movie have an octopus drummer?
Oh my God!
Octopus
Talking about a
drums.
shitty movie. Forget Game of Thrones being bad. Aquaman might be the worst movie of the year.
Don't they ride
Aquaman, with the real live-action Aquaman,
The one with Khal Drogo
had an octopus drummer.
there's a battle scene where Khal Drogo, Aquaman, fights his nemesis in a state. It's like they make a football stadium under the sea, and then like the entertainment is an octopus playing the drum. No, and you're supposed to be in this serious mid-movie battle scene where he finally fights the guy, his nemesis, for all of it since his childhood. They go back, and it begins with an octopus being like boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom with his 8 arms. It's so dumb.
And don't they have like go to war and they're like riding sharks like horses?
Oh yeah, and then there'll be
That's more believable.
Yeah, I guess.
Sorry.
Go,
and then
go.
there's a montage of when this evil guy he gets like this unbeatable weapon. I forget some of the details because I try to erase it from him, but he gets this weapon from like the guy gives him a weapon that can defeat anything. And then he gets the weapon, and then a montage begins where he takes apart the weapon and rebuilds it to his own liking. But he got the greatest weapon of all time. And he's like, no, I'm going to take it apart and do my own thing with it. And then you have this 20-minute montage with this shitty, like, disco music.
It's 20 minutes?
It's not 20. It's like
Feels
5
like it.
minutes. But it feels like forever. And he's rebuilding this weapon that's already the greatest killing weapon on Earth.
Okay.
I didn't get the movie.
I feel like it's... You know how hard it is?
Somebody's gonna butt actually you, by the way.
I don't care.
Somebody's gonna come in and be like, actually, it was a great movie. You don't know what you're talking about.
There's so many movies where, like, even superhero movies where, like, suspension of disbelief is, well, the supernatural
Paramount.
is about to
Yeah,
happen.
it's a fish man.
You know, and they can go to space, and yeah, it's a fish man, and they're gonna fight under the sea. But then for them to, with all those things that you are willingly accepting,
Yeah.
to then have something that makes you go, an octopus, like that is, how doesn't anyone in the studio go, let's maybe dial it back on the octopus,
Right.
Let's maybe no with the octopus.
And it's filled with so many cheesy love moments that you're like, I'm watching a superhero action movie. I don't need to see you guys go to the desert and look for this amulet thing, or I forget whatever special item they were looking for, and then have your love scene traveling together through the desert.
a good
Like, this isn't fun. This is Indiana Jones meets The Notebook. Sorry.
You want to know? You want to know a good love story in a superhero movie? The Dark Knight.
Oh no. You mean the Catwoman's thing? Or you mean
What? No, that's The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh god.
The Dark Knight is
Ooh.
when she gets blown up.
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
The Dark Knight's one of the greatest movies of all
Yeah,
time.
There's
amazing.
heartbreak.
Oh, yeah.
There's heartbreak. Like
Where
I feel like in
when he
superhero
chooses
Yes.
oh yeah.
The-
it's rough.
It's the violins in the background and them embracing love. No,
Yeah.
I just don't believe it, and it comes across as cheesy because it's been done so many times.
Yep.
You know what hasn't been done so many times?
Death.
She dies halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And now the second half is, oh my god, she's dead.
He's Two-Face.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second half is the goodie's a baddie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's an incredible movie.
Oh man, it's great.
It's really good.
Boy, did they screw it up with the third one though. I liked
It's
Bane.
okay.
It was just okay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's just okay though.
I give it a 8.2 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It is the third best of the three.
Yes.
What? Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I also don't understand why he had to talk like this.
I don't get that either. What's that about?
reason. Listen, the mask, I understood. The voice, I did not.
You must have related so hard to Batman's back problems.
I did. Well, believe me, I watched it, and
he
I'm
was like,
watching him hang on the rope, and I'm just like, God, that looks so relieving.
His hip must be out.
Yeah. And then he's jumping off of cliffs and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be me when I get my own rope cave and fix my shit.
Do we have any other questions, Jesse?
Do you want to do more questions?
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
We already pissed a bunch of people off with Game of Thrones. Why not?
Hey, spoilers are done. That helps.
Spoilers over and scene. Okay.
Ty Looney wants to know which NHL player could be WWE champion.
Oh man.
What?
Brad Marchand because he's sneaky. Sneaky guys win sometimes.
No, but Vince McMahon hates little guys.
Oh.
So we're only looking at monsters. We're looking at
On Chara then.
the biggest ones. Chara would be a great heel
No,
champ.
the tall dude who just knocks everybody over. He's never champion, or he's champion. Then
Big Show.
He like
And then
has
loses
it, and then he
it.
has it for like a month.
Yeah.
Big Show was WWE champion like once,
Yeah.
and then he like won it in like some
great
Armageddon or
Khali.
something.
Ovechkin.
Khali had it like once, and
Ovechkin.
loses it.
Ovechkin be a good champ because he's so charismatic. And he's I don't know if
He's
you
a good heel
charisma.
champ.
do you follow Ovechkin on Instagram?
Yes.
That guy, he is a walking like pole. Like that is he's just human like mass. There's
Just a
no
tree.
He's a walking rectangle of concrete. Like it's he doesn't have curves or anything. He's just
No, there's some
a
guys
guy.
who are big, and you're like, oh, the gym did that. And Ovechkin walks around, and I'm like, nature did that shit.
Yes.
Nature is responsible for the way that you are. The only problem is, would Vince allow a face Russian champion?
Ooh.
The Russian has to be the heel because wrestling.
America.
Although
Although in Trump's America, Russians are friends.
so naturally he'd be the face.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Just saying.
It's got to be Ovi.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Ovi.
Ovi would get over with the fans. You see, because I like that one.
Jesse?
You're now the NHL commissioner. You're in
no.
charge of European expansion. Which city do you grant a franchise to? That's from Jason.
The first city?
Yeah.
Monteleone,
You got one
Italy.
city.
No, I don't know.
I would probably go with oh my god, give me a second here. I got it in my head.
I got one. London.
Really?
Yes.
My first city would be Stockholm.
Interesting.
Because it is an international hub in the north. If it's one city. London is like, it's so big, you're like, yeah, it probably couldn't fail there. But there are so many soccer teams there that I almost wonder, like, because like, literally, it's like London's like, this borough has this major European soccer force, and this borough has this major European soccer force. You wonder if there's room, like entertainment dollar room for it. Whereas I look at a team like Sweden, in Stockholm. Stockholm's an international hub. It's an expensive city. It's a beautiful city. There's a lot going on there, and it's very Canada. In the sense of like its weather and that sort of thing. It's even further north.
Yes.
I look at that and think it's got to be an area where you need a foothold. It doesn't have to be the biggest market. It has to be the most passionate.
Right.
It's got to be a big market, but not the biggest.
But could they fill 41 times a year a 20,000 seat building
in Stockholm?
Yeah.
There's 10 million people in
It's a big ass.
Well, there's 10 million people in Sweden.
in Sweden?
Yeah.
I
big
think if
Stockholm?
you have one team in the NHL in Sweden, I don't know, man. I think so.
And we're
me see
getting,
what-
we're
What's
not,
the
we're
size
not
of Vegas in
considering
comparison? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
because
like-
we're not considering things like travel time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Come on,
that's-
we're having a fun conversation. here.
Suspend disbelief like an octopus playing the drums.
I don't know
This
if I
is
can
more
suspend that kind of
believable than
disbelief.
an octopus playing the drums. Now, was it like every other octopus I've seen playing the drums, and only its two front tentacles had sticks?
No, it was using all 8.
All
Is it,
eight- so
is it
how
8 or
did it-
6? Oh,
It's
never mind.
8 oct.
I don't know.
How many sides does an octagon have?
4.
Shut up! Shut up!
Okay, so the capital city, Stockholm, it is the capital. It's got 1 million people, and that's
That's
just
not
in
a
the.
lot.
It's not, but it's no smaller than a lot of the NHL cities. Like
Okay.
Edmonton's 1 million people.
So it could work.
Fair.
Winnipeg's 600,000 people.
I'm just thinking of.
You need a rich owner, and there are lots of rich people. I don't know if you've heard this in Europe. Weird.
Yes.
A lot of the world's money circulates in Europe. Has always sort of been that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get into how they got it, but that's the truth.
But they're there.
Now, I feel like in that particular place, you're setting yourself up for a lot of success. Not only do you have the Swedish elite leagues, where if you got guys like the Leafs have sort of an in Sweden for whatever reason right now. They develop relationships there. They sign these guys out of the SHL, and they're able to get them to come over.
It was originally Solomon and then Sundin.
Imagine you get your star players or whatever, but imagine you can get your third and fourth liners from that league, and they get to stay home.
Oh,
Because the thing about Swedes is they like Sweden. And they got a lot of reason to like Sweden.
Yeah.
Like Matt's moved back. Mats could have moved anywhere in the world, but he's like, no, give me to the country that has more weather, worse weather than Canada. I did not articulate that properly, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. So imagine if the only Swedish team, led by Swedes, won the Stanley Cup.
Ooh.
That's something, right?
They would be like the
with
Montreal Canadiens of the 60s. It's all French-Canadian players. Like, you have to think that Swedish team, or the Stockholm team, would be majority Swede.
I'm with you.
I think you'd have a good little farm system there in terms of free agent signings and that sort of thing. I don't know. That's Stockholm for me is the big one. Like, Helsinki would be nice, but it's smaller, so you're not capping it properly. If you get it to work in Stockholm, then you probably can get it to work in Helsinki because Finnish fans are fanatical. And if we've seen anything, I got to tell you that watching the IHF or the IIHF has been so much fun because it's different from the NHL, and it's been great to see the Great Britain fans.
Oh,
like how they're the highlight of the tournament. Like, I mean, the British goalie's been amazing too.
yes.
But how cool is it to see those British fans come, faces painted? And when I was over
Italian goalie too.
I met British SDP fans when I was in Manchester. Like the desire for it's there.
I want to go back.
Oh man, it's so cool. It's so cool. So I think, and I want to get my hands on one of those British jerseys. I don't know how to get one, but I want one.
The internet.
I mean, there has to be a way through
a
British hockey to get one.
Yeah.
They're cool.
My answer is London because I feel like, well, first of all, I think Stockholm's a boring answer because that's the most logical. It makes the most sense, and therefore I hate it.
So what I'm saying is, F your answer.
Yeah, that's your answer. So Stockholm, London, not Stockholm, because I feel like it would succeed in Stockholm, and then what? It succeeded where it should succeed, and then what? If it succeeds in London, where
don't you want to build a base though first?
But you're
the
thinking
NHL doesn't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah, you're thinking about it like Bettman. You're like, let's go to Arizona and build a hockey team there. And get into the non-traditional market.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and see, I'm in his head.
Yeah.
I told you I work for the NHL, folks.
Another English-speaking market.
Another English-speaking market. He gets into London. There's so many people who live there. There's so many sports fans. All these people willing to spend their money, and maybe their local footy team. Maybe they don't have such a great season on the pitch. And they decide, you know what? Enough of this footy team for now. Mm-hmm. Let's go see what that team on the ice pitch can do. And then maybe they discover...
Oh, those are interesting kits they have on the ice pitch.
Maybe they discover... maybe they even buy one of those kits. And then go watch guys who actually wear those kits on the ice pitch and see how they do. And then it grows. Because I feel like if you put it in Stockholm and it works, then where do you expand to? Mm-hmm. If you put it in London and it works, now we're talking Paris and Madrid and, I don't know, Berlin. And actually...
Rome.
Except...
Roma.
Everything I've ever heard about Italy is it's not nice anymore and no one lives there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's nice to look at. It's probably just not great politically.
Yeah.
No, but like...
They've always had a very crazy political system, though.
No, but every friend is like, it's very beautiful. The food is wonderful. I was robbed. Like every friend. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. The scenery. I got lots of pictures on the camera that I bought after my camera was stolen.
If you look at the history since the Roman Empire, which apparently during the Roman Empire you could walk from Rome to London and never get robbed because it was so safe. But after that, Italy's had a tumultuous history. Very tumultuous. City to city they used to fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, Italy didn't have a kingdom that was united. It was city to city. Milan was different from Rome, was different from Venice. Like, they all had their own little castles and their own little fiefdoms. And I wonder if that's just like they just have some crazy politics happening there.
I think it's just things are bad.
Things might be bad.
That's everything I've been told. I don't know. I want to go to where my family's from. I watched some YouTube videos.
I want to read a tweet. And this is, can I just say I hate, this is a complete about face, but I want to read this anyway because somebody sent it to us.
Sure.
Kevin Paul DuPont, sorry.
Oh, okay.
From Globe KPD He's a Boston reporter.
Oh.
Left restaurant because TV dumped NHL for NBA. Returned to the hotel to find NBA playing on lobby TV. Now in the process of checking out Hicks.
First of
Is
all,
that a please like my sport?
No, I think it was I'm old and trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. So he was trying to be funny with that?
Yeah, I don't really have much time for that guy. Because years ago, when I wrote for LeafsNation.com, there was that whole analytics war and everything. And he was going off about it, and some people were going off at him. And so I contacted him, and I'm like, listen, I'd love for you to write your side of this, and we'll put it on our website. And he basically just said, beat it, I don't write for free.
Well, I can't say I blame him. There's a way to frame that that's not beat it, I don't write for free.
I didn't say it like that, but he was like, it was very...
He couldn't have offered like a quote for your article or something?
It stuck with me.
It was an
because
F-off kid.
It felt it was probably just the way it felt because I was struggling so hard to get my foot in any door. And it felt like...
Piss off, little kid.
It felt like a fuck you from a guy at a guy who missed the boat from the boat.
Yeah.
You know what? And you'll never be on the boat.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the boat and you got to deal with me.
And so much of everything is how you make people feel.
Sure. You can politely
reality.
turn someone down. I understand him not writing for free. We had a guy, we tried to book somebody way before
give me 1,000 words.
We were going to talk.
Pronto.
We were talking about Boston a lot, and I actually think this is the reason that Sarah Connors ended up being our first person on the podcast.
Way back in
first
2013.
Guest. We asked somebody, I think from the Boston Globe, of somebody else, and I don't know who it was. And the guy's like, "Sure, I'll do it. That'll be $1,000." Because those guys because reporters get paid for radio appearances.
Some like the best ones.
But Steve came in. We're like, "Yeah, let's see if we can book this guy." And then Steve was like, "Hey guys, he asked for a lot of money, and we were definitely not making any money."
Man, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy.
$1,000.
Yeah, it was like $1,000. It was like, okay, yeah, that's a no.
I've never made money for a radio appearance.
Well, no.
Wow.
Not you.
Well, no.
Not you,
Well,
Steve.
not me.
Well,
no.
the thing is that I think a little bit of that's going away because of the democratization has brought everybody's price down.
Well, also, hey, radio station, can I have some money? The radio station goes, what's money?
Oh, you mean that? That's ours.
Yeah.
You can work for free if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, that's ours.
That's funny.
And don't you try doing any endorsements now. That's not fair. That's also our business.
Matty Henry.
That's
off the
not
top
my
of your
current
head.
station, by the way. Let me throw that out there.
Off the top of your head, Matty Henry wants to know if you want any additions in NHL 20. I didn't play NHL 19, to be honest. I didn't play it a whole bunch.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't have much time for video games last year or this year.
Ones is a really good game mode. Didn't we play it together?
We did, like, at your place and stuff, but I didn't play it on my own or anything.
It's a really good game mode. It's a really good way of being, if you have 10 minutes, it's a really good way to, you can play 3 games in 10 minutes, bang them out, and it's fun.
Yeah, do you guys have any things you want to see in the next NHL game?
I want it to be less buggy. I want it to be...
Well,
dude, I want it to be... No,
you're asking the sun and the moon.
No.
I think Rammer probably does too. I think he wants a budget.
I want it to be playable.
I want it to have a budget.
Online is unplayable at the moment. It's unplayable. EASHL, it crashes. I spend 15 minutes trying to get into a game. Because, first of all, there's not enough people in it to fill it. Because I guess they've all gotten fed up with it. And then once it does get filled, you have 6 people per side, it crashes. So I've stopped playing it. I've started playing Beta Pro again. I've started playing offline modes because friggin' you can't play it online. There's a glitch in EASHL, and I think it sometimes happens in ones where you'll be skating with the puck up the wing, and then the game just resets and you're at a face-off at center ice. And the time is whatever time it picks. Remaining, and I'm like, how did that bug happen?
And get through and get...
And continues to happen.
How did they release the game with the... And that was this new one where it crashes every single time you try to start a game. That's still relatively new. The game just randomly resets in the middle. That's been since release date. So why did they release the game?
Yeah.
It wasn't done. Yeah, no, that was... So I would say, number 1, make it friggin' playable. Which I don't think is too much to ask. And number 2, just simple things. Like, I wrote about this in the book where, like, the NHL video games, were such a good teaching tool for me as a kid. So I'd like to see, the incorporation of some fancy stats, like even like Corsi and shot attempts and stuff like that.
Calls,
The NHL would have to
video
allow
review.
for that, though. The NHL would have to allow for that.
No. The way they do reviews now is so much better. NHL 99 tried to do the toe in the crease rule.
it was the worst.
It was awful. It was awful. And it was buggy, too.
that.
Because, like, remember they would show the overhead cam?
Yeah.
And there were times where no one was in the overhead cam shot except for the goalie, and they would call it back. So that was terrible. But, yeah, like, fancy stats in women's leagues, I think, would just be cool. But I know the women's leagues, there's probably, like, legal things.
Different rights, yeah.
And also, there's only one now. And God knows what is going on there. So I'd say start with fancy stats. That'd be nice.
Adam.
And a playable game.
Yeah, I mean, I think my frustration with the NHL game, and this is not like I think that EA invests a percentage of what they believe they're going to make back, which is why the MLB games and the NBA games and the FIFA games are so much better, right? Because hockey is a niche sport. Sorry, but it is. That said, I think that the gameplay they've done the best that they can with in terms of how the actual players interact.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little bit more. I still don't think the players look like the players on the ice. I think they look too wide. I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
That's interesting. Oh,
I think they look too wide. I think they do. And again, I think that that's a budget thing. Like the NFL players used to look like literally walking cinder blocks. Like they had the same squat looking thing. And I'd like to see something for, call it dad mode here, but I'd like to see something where I don't have to get as involved. Like I see my brother-in-law, and he plays FIFA, and he's got like these cards, and he's got all the things. Like the FIFA one is so much more in depth.
You're talking about hot.
And I don't have time for that. Give me something where it's fun, it's somewhat light, it's something like what I grew up with.
That's why Ones is great. Ones is great.
But I
because-
don't-
It's not the game.
But
though.
and I
You're
also,
playing.
like, I want to play like
You
I
want
want
to play hockey.
Yeah.
right?
They have a bunch of fun modes. Like I still think EA SHL is a great concept. Ones is great. Threes is great. And then there's regular 3-on-3. I don't know why you have both, but whatever. But the online mode is unplayable at the moment.
Right.
It's unfriggin' playable.
But what if they simplified just the game? you know?
Like I don't think you need 80 modes.
Yeah.
Like that's your biggest problem. It's like a menu at a bar.
Well, be
if
a
it's more than a couple pages, you're probably going to eat bad food.
Be a GM is the one that people keep asking me to stream. They want me to like stream an entire like season. And it's when I was a kid, I wanted it to be more and more realistic. And now it's so realistic, and there's so many actual rules in place where I'm like, dude, I can't do it.
What
And, like,
pisses me off
waivers and
about it
shit.
is that when you try to develop a relationship with the team, you basically have to just give them a player for nothing so that they'll like you.
Well, and after a while,
Like, how-
I feel like a dick because
What
I'm
is
like,
that?
now I'm trying to get this fake person to like me.
And it's a challenge, right? Like I'd like there to be some sort of element to it that's not okay. I'm just going to give away talent for nothing.
And then you also have to I don't know how much people like setting the parking prices for your arena.
I don't mind
that.
that. I don't mind that.
I
I
like that
hated
kind
it.
of stuff. I'm a huge fan
I
of
like
the
that.
owner part of it.
Yeah,
that's
me
the hot
too.
dog part. It's ticket. And are you going to set Marner's jersey to $60 and Nylander's to $40?
Is that actually an option?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can set
Dude,
the
I
jersey
don't have the
prices
patience.
depending
I
on
wanna
the
play.
players.
Yeah,
I want to
love
play.
But then there's so many people just like, let me play the fucking game.
Yeah. I love that element to it, and I love that about like FIFA. Like you can like become the owner of a team and move it.
Yeah, you can do that in NHL too.
You can move
Yeah.
them like internationally. It's cool.
There are
You can move them
things
to
they can do
Oshawa,
to make
Steve.
it more fun.
Yeah, you could start
Yeah,
the Oshawa
wow.
Steves.
That is actually an option.
You can do the Oshawa
You know what?
Steves.
You should make a team called the Oshawa Steves, and then
Oshawa
do a
Steves?
fantasy like do it like you're the new
import
Golden
a
Knights.
logo of just my
if
face?
you do the
Yeah.
if you do the most recent one or is 18, I think both of them have it. You do the 30-second franchise.
What's that?
So when Vegas comes in, there's 31. You can add a team to be a GM, and you're the 32nd team in the league, and then you do your expansion draft and everything. And it could be the Oshawa Steves.
You know what I thought you were talking about, and this could be a fun game mode? I thought you meant 30-second franchise. So you have 30 seconds to select all the things for your franchise,
No.
and then that's just your team. And I'm like, that's great, because I don't have to waste an hour building the team and then play the game.
No, I'm saying you spend 18 hours setting up a franchise.
Oh, my God. It's just the thing that drives me the most nuts about the game is there are so many times where I'll be trying to play online and it won't work and it'll crash or like I won't be able to find someone. And finally I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I've been sitting here for 15 or 20 minutes and I haven't played the game yet. And so I just turn it off and then go upstairs and do something else. So they've got to fix online. It's bullshit. And I don't, like you said, I think that was smart. I don't think it's the developer. Like, what developer is like, I want to make a game that doesn't work?
Yeah.
Like, I
think there's a budget restriction. Yeah.
I don't think it's in the budget, and they don't give a shit about NHL.
They don't have the manpower. So, if, like, everybody that bitches at Rammer on Twitter, it's so unfair because it's like, I've met the guy. The guy wants to make the best fucking game in the world.
He wants to make a great game.
Yeah.
And
I think at a certain point you got to look at EA and go, and like EA has goofed on a few franchises. They got a couple great ones too, but like they screwed up Star Wars too.
But it's amazing to me that when I go online, like at like peak times and like sometimes even on the weekend, and it says population low, and I can't fill a game.
That's crazy.
It means no one's playing the game.
Yeah, and if you don't have a great online community now,
You're sunk.
You're sunk.
You're sunk. So like,
and they had one. It was vibrant for a while.
oh yeah. So I don't know how NHL 20 is going to do. All I can tell you is it better work. Because right now it doesn't work.
And with that, we have to finish work because Jesse and I need to get back to work in a few hours. So we got to wrap up the show. But what day is it today? It's Thursday?
Yeah.
No idea when we'll be back. Probably Monday or Tuesday next
We
week.
should do Monday.
Okay. Monday was good.
We should do a holiday Monday.
Ooh. Steven?
I'm not sure
Stephen A. Dangle?
if I can.
All right.
I'm not sure if I can. We'll let you know.
We'll figure it out.
I'm back on Twitter now, so I can tweet it.
Anyway, we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you whenever.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.